What is happening, everybody? Welcome back to Tour Life. Today is Tuesday, August the 5th, and buckle up, everyone, because we are about to break down everything that went down this past weekend in our World's Recap podcast. These are normally the longest podcasts we do, and the storylines were abundant in this past one, from an incredible tournament to incredible fields of players to the spectators to some of the craziest shots I've ever seen, some of the wildest decisions I've ever seen. This is going to be a crazy, crazy podcast. We are joined today by Gary and Yuli. If you can ever figure out how to use this link, will be joining us as well. Gary, how's it going, brother?
It's going pretty well. Tried to juggle watching this weekend, and I also played in an A tier myself. Didn't play great, but I walked away with some sweet accuracy contest prizes, so I'm pretty happy about that.
Very nice, very nice. And I think we have in the wings two players, not one, two players that were in the mix all week at Worlds. Join now, we have Ezra Aderhold and the Gooseman Gossage joining us still from Europe. I don't know how we got them to agree to this. Boys, what's the time over there? Tell everyone at what time it is.
We're gullible. It's 3 a.m. here, but yeah, we decided to stay up.
Are we thinking that this was a mistake now, that you're actually in it at 3 o'clock? Because I know initially you're like, afterwards, you might have that world's high being like, no, this is a great idea. Let's go on the podcast. And now you're in it. What are we thinking?
Hey, man, it's no different than last week. We stayed in the frat house. We were going to bed at 3 a.m. anyway. So it's about usual stuff for us.
There was an interview, I think it was with AB. He did an interview after a round, and he talked about like, yeah, it was nice playing good. And like, I also, my putt was good, and I didn't sweat last night because it was cold. Like, tell the people that maybe don't know, it's a little bit different over in Europe versus in America as far as the sleeping arrangements go.
Well, I feel like it's only like warm in Finland for like a month out of the whole year, and we just happen to be there for that month. They don't have air conditioning in like almost any places, so yeah, we're kind of sweating bullets. So the sleep is kind of tough sometimes.
We were like talking about it, and it's like everyone's complaining about how hot it is here, and it's not that hot. Like we're about to go back to Peoria, where it's like way hotter.
Yeah,
but we have AC, which makes a huge difference.
Yeah, I think just like walking in and out of gas stations, like doing like small things where you just pop into AC, we take it for granted too much. But that is something that struggle outside of the actual disc golf that you guys have to deal with while you're over in Europe. Not the biggest things, but you guys obviously had to deal with a little more on the course. First, want to say, big week for Tour Life here. We picked both of you guys. A little spoiler coming.
Let's go. Me too.
Oh, spoiler coming up. What is it about this course for both of your guys' games that you feel like you have a little bit of an edge on some of it? Because we didn't see everyone play well out here. There were people that were pretty decent, especially on the FPO side, that struggled, getting in contention, but both of you guys were in contention the entire time. So what is it about these courses that you guys felt pretty good going into it?
So I'm just going to throw it out there. I played 3, maybe 4 practice rounds with Ezra. He was not feeling good about these courses. It was some of the worst practice rounds I've ever seen in my life. And I was like, man, if Ezra makes it through this course, like under par, I'll be blown away.
I was feeling pretty good at the Beast. Like I felt comfortable and confident on that golf. Like I've played pretty well there in the past, but the Monster was beating me up so bad, so I didn't have a whole lot of confidence. I would not have thought that I would have done better on the Monster than the Beast for this event, but that's how it shook out.
Absolutely credit.
You were playing it at both, I felt like.
Yeah, for me, I was just super confident in my putt this week, so I don't think it really mattered what the course was, whether it like adhered to my strengths or weaknesses. I just was putting well. That's all that matters.
Well, let's talk about that, because that was something that I've noticed just from watching you play on the little, the coverage that I'm able to see of you, because obviously we don't get to see everything, but also then going to your statistics. It did seem like you have made a big jump in your putting, and that was one of the reasons why I liked you a lot for this week, or this past week, was because I knew you already were going to play well at the Beast, and I know how well you do off the tee. So I knew the Monster, you're going to keep it in the fairway and give yourself a lot of chances. It was always just going to come down to the putting for you. And some people were like, it's Goose. And I was like, guys, I'm telling you right now, this guy's getting locked in. And looking at your stats, you were 50 for 57, 88% inside of C1X, and you're 13 of 27, 48% from C2. So an insane weekend, Circle 2. I think just to put in perspective, Gannon Burr was, I believe, just under 20% from Circle 2. So impressive. So tell the people what has changed. What, you did mention a little bit that Parker Welk has kind of helped you a little bit, but what has actually changed with your putt?
Yeah, I gotta say, man, Parker Welk was like, Goss, I know what you need to do with your putt. And then I did a bunch of drilling sessions with him. I probably spent like 3 weeks in a row staying at an Airbnb with him, where we just go out and putt every day. The biggest thing that I really improved on is I found a stroke that I feel comfortable and confident like practicing. So now that I'm putting in work, I feel like it's productive. I feel like it's working towards something, and it's made a huge difference. As far as the putt itself goes, biggest thing is I've got a little bit more spin on the putts, and I'm really doing a good job of changing the nose angle to be more neutral, to battle the wind, whatever I need it to do. And I think those things together is just making it a lot more consistent for me.
Yeah, because with you, it was never gosh, he needs to just practice his putting, because I remember, you would be out there grinding with me and Ezra for certain weeks. We were out there hours amongst the weeks putting practice, right? And so it was never one of those things of where Goose just needs to practice more. It was more of all right, you talked about the nose angle, right? You used to be like a super nose down putter. Now a little bit different there, but it also, I think, the thing that I'm seeing in this, maybe Gary, if you want to pop in too, the confidence is like through the roof. And the other thing that I'm noticing, it doesn't seem like you're afraid of the second putt, right? You're not afraid of missing the first and then having that comebacker. And just seeing you freaking laser beam these putts in, man, it was getting me excited this Sunday.
Yeah, one of the things that I thought was really interesting, a lot of people talked, obviously, how great your third round was in your final round, but I think when you go back and look at your second round, you kind of have maybe a bit of a flatter start than you wanted, being even through the first 9. But there's something about what happened on that back 9 where you went 7 under in the last 9 holes. You also went 7 under in the last 9 holes in round 3. So, like, what? Is that a testament to the preparation, to knowing where you want to be? Because it felt like when you were cooking, everywhere you said in your practice round video that you wanted to land, like you were landing there or close to there and just executing. So is that a confidence thing that you build through the practice, or just a mental thing?
Yeah, so I talked to Ezra a bit about this. One of the things I've been struggling with lately is I'll start my rounds and just be like, hey, we'll see where this goes, we'll kind of feel it out. And then once I get towards the end of the round, I'm like, dude, you gotta lock in and throw some good shots here. You've only got 8 holes left. You have to execute on these. And I wish I could keep that same mentality going the whole round. And finally, the final round, I was able to do it. Like hole 1 all the way to hole 18, I was locked in, focusing hard, beginning to end. So it was a weird situation of I kept being like, dude, you gotta put a push here. You gotta really focus up and make this happen. And then another thing I want to say, going back to what Brody was talking about with the confidence. Ezra and I talk about the confidence all the time, man. I wish I could always just have confidence. We talk about it. How do you find confidence? At the end of the day, we're both realists. So the only way for us to find confidence is for us to see that we're playing well. So if we go out and we're playing good practice rounds, if we're making putts, we're doing things like that, we're going to have confidence, and it stems from that. So it's a hard thing for us to fake. So we actually have to put in the work and see it happen. So I don't know. Those are kind of responses I have to both of those statements, but I totally agree with both of them. It's that back 9 I knew I could shred, and the confidence is really key to the putting. The last thing I will say on that is the final round made it really easy. You said I wasn't scared of the the comebacker putt or anything like that. It didn't matter. I had to shoot course record to win. Yeah. So it's like, who cares if I miss the putt, man? I have to run everything. I have to go for every shot, and it kind of takes away that, and it just builds that confidence. I have no option but to just go for everything and make them all.
I wonder if
If
that
I
would have
talked about
changed
his
if
putting a little bit too. We kind of talked about how much he walks. Like people see he's struggled a little bit with putting for a while, and he's somebody who puts in more walk than like almost anybody. So it's nice to see that kind of pay off.
yeah.
And I think you're like a true professional to where you're always trying to kind of tweak things and figure out what needs to actually like improve to make the overall stroke better. So it's nice to see that kind of culminate into this last weekend.
Yeah, definitely.
Just first off, Yuli, I'm glad you're not shadow banned anymore on the podcast. I'm glad you're in here. Well, welcome back, brother. But Goose, I have to ask, because I hear that mentality so often, and we saw, AB, for example, which I actually want to get to. That's a second question I have of what AB did on 18. But we see that sometimes with guys playing super aggressive. They're just going for the win. They don't care about anything else. Would that change if the purse was different? If the payouts were different to where you knew the difference between, let's say, second place and third place was $250,000. Like, is that now a different mindset when you're playing? Maybe of not, hey, because in disc golf, it really is like win or go home, right? Like winning matters so much more than all these other places because you get so much more on top of it. No one really cares about your top 5 or your top 10s in the grand scheme of things. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, we've had a big discussion about this, and I actually have kind of a funny story on 18 itself. But you make a good point that there's obviously a number where that would be the case. You know what I mean? I don't know what the number is. Maybe it is 250,000. Maybe it's way less. Where I would really start to care enough to lay up shots, going down at the end.
Yeah.
For a player like Paul Macbeth, that number's going to be way higher because he just
Sure.
cares way more about the legacy than he does about the money. And the money is kind of irrelevant compared to his sponsorship money. So there's definitely a number where that's the case for everyone, I feel like. But yeah, it's going to change from person to person, and I don't really know where that is. I also told Ezra, like, I didn't really know what the payout was, and it's not something I even thought about really until hole 18. On hole 18, I was sitting there. I had to throw after Niklas, and I thought to myself, if Niklas parks this hole, I have to try to throw in for eagle because he becomes the definite score of one better than I can reach. And if I can tie that definite score, then I have a chance to win. Versus if he doesn't park it and he pars and I birdie, then we're both tied at that definite score and we just need Gannon to mess up. So it's a weird situation being on chase car, but I had in my head, like, if Niklas is going to birdie for sure, I have to throw in for eagle. And that's my only choice. And, I had a pretty big buffer, but it's one of those you just go for broke. But since it wasn't guaranteed, I was like, I think my best play to actually win is to play for birdie and hope Gannon messes up. And yeah, I'm happy with that.
So the AB line was never a thought process of like actually thinking about that.
I've got to be a little realistic with my skill set. And realistically speaking, I think that I have a good chance of birdieing and I have like maybe a 1% chance of eagling. Versus, I feel like Gannon has somewhere around a 5% chance of bogeying.
Yeah.
So, like, percentage-wise, I think I am in the realm of being in that playoff if I play for birdie and Gannon messes up somehow. But like I said, if Niklas birdies, then that's out of the question.
Sure.
What if you're playing with Gannon and
Right.
and you have to have eagle? Do either of you guys, let's say it's like the $250,000 you lose if you bogey, are any of you guys not running the eagle from your landing zone? Like, he's parked, it's over unless you make it.
There's a certain amount of money that would be. The current money, it's definitely not. I'm for sure going for eagle if that's the case. First of all, I can't even drop below third. So, it's not really a situation there where I'm too worried about that. And second, third, fourth, fifth, they're all about the same.
So there is a number where you would lay that up. I don't think there could be enough for the World Championships that I would ever lay it up.
So does this hypothetical situation, is this like a one-off event where the pulse is just way higher? Or is it a situation where the 2 odds go into a level where every event is super high paying? If that's the case, then I feel like a top player like Goose, who's in contention a lot, top 10s a lot.
Yeah, he's rich.
He's going to be making so much money week in, week out. He's also not going to care. Even if it's $250, like $200,000. Like at
Let's
that
just
point,
say if it's a one-off event, same purses now, but it's the world's, and it is the world championships, and this is just the one time that it's like million plus purse.
yeah, that's different. I mean,
Right. There's a certain number. I don't know what the number would be, but
Is
the
it
other
that
thing I would do is-
fun game of where it's like you have
Yeah.
like a 50% chance to win $1 million, or you can just take like $50,000 right now, 100%? Like, isn't that the kind of the same kind of thing of where, like, what would you actually do?
Right. It is like that game. And honestly, it's a little like, it's interesting to just see where everybody lies in that, because so many people are way more like, I'd rather have wins. And so many people are like, hey man, I'd like to have a future. I'd like to keep touring. You know, I'd like to put some money in savings, things like that. So it's just kind of a difference in mindset.
All right, well, let's not bury the lead over here with Mr. Greatest round I've ever played in my entire life. Unfortunately,
Hey, I also played the greatest round I've ever played in my entire life. Just so we're clear, his round was way better, but I still did that myself too.
do you have a top 10 round, Goose? Would you put that round in a top 10 of all
I would
time?
put both my rounds. I think it was my best round I ever played, round 3, and it was my beat that round 5.
Wow. Both in the world championship. That's impressive stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's talk about it. So Ezra decides, hey, I suck at this course during practice, has no confidence. What we've talked about, the major.
Hey, I can attest for this too. Every day he came home so depressed and so mad, and he was just like, "Ools, I don't know, man. I can't play this place. I shot 5 over par today.
Yep.
My world is over." Like it was
I'm
like
watching Yuli shoot 9 down every single round.
and we're definitely.
That's what I did. I took Ezra's bad rounds, and then I did it for the team.
You did the moon stars, the little moon stars. This is not to forget about the major that just happened a couple weeks ago, because we're not gonna forget about that one. Let's make sure we're all remembering that. But after that tournament, I think a lot of people are really excited Worlds, because we're now going to go and see a test, right? We all knew the beast is the beast. You can go out and you can shoot 14, you can shoot 15, you can go low at the beast. There's enough OB that you can also lose the tournament out there too on a couple holes. Mm-hmm. But Tampere, that was the course. The Monster was this course that was like kind of almost on the same level as Northwood Black. A lot of people putting it in that same kind of one of the toughest courses we play all year. And then Ezra decides to go out, shoots 14 under par, throws 13 out of 18 in circle 1 in regulation, 16 out of 18 in circle 2 in regulation. So only 2 holes were you not looking for birdie inside of circle 2. You went 14 of 16 in circle 1, which is crazy. You missed 2 putts inside a circle and still shoot 14 under, and you were 3 for 3 from circle 2. So, I mean, tell the people, I guess, how it feels first and foremost. You've had good rounds. We've seen you have great rounds, but what's it like to have it at this stage of the game?
Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, obviously, like, there's no better place to pop off than a World Championships. And so to pop off and have the lead going into the third round is pretty awesome. And then as Anthony and Adam and people kind of started talking to me like, bro, you shot the best round ever. I'm like, really? I was like, I know it's good, but like, people kept saying, I'm like, okay, it was pretty special. I knew it was obviously really good. It's kind of funny we talked about the confidence thing and like us both being realists to where we have to like kind of like actually believe the confidence and like see ourselves do well. I didn't have any confidence on the actual course, so I don't really know how I ended up playing. Well, I think I maybe had confidence in my game, and I had confidence in my game plan, and then that's maybe what helped. But
I got to throw it out there, man. Ezra is a true American, and he lives off of sheer spite.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of people say he's not a woods golfer, and he was like, I will show the world that I can play woods golf too.
I like that.
I feel like the woods go. I mean, hey, if you want to do it, I mean, it worked really well for. Oh gosh, I'm blanking on his name. Who's the Alabama head coach? Oh my gosh, line, Alabama
Saban?
football. Alabama,
Yeah,
Saban, yeah.
Saban?
It worked really well for Nick Saban, of where he
Tough
would just
look.
come in being like, they're telling us we're the underdogs, and like,
Right.
no one's saying you're
No
the
one said
underdog.
that ever.
Everyone thinks you're going to win. So if that still works for you, Ezra, I don't think anyone out there anymore is saying that you can't play good in the woods anymore.
Oh,
We've
you'd
seen-
be surprised,
I'd be
man.
surprised.
You'd be surprised.
okay.
It's
well,
not that. It's not that bad.
No one that matters. So I'll give you that.
yeah, I was going to say there's idiots all over the place.
said
So
this on
Anyone that's
coverage
seen you
that
play lately knows that you're good everywhere.
Yuli, try reconnecting your mic. I think it's coming through your computer right now.
Is it?
Yeah. It sounds like you're talking. It doesn't sound like it's coming through the mic. See if you can get that reconnected.
I think
Um,
I think we have proof now that Ezra can play pretty much anywhere. Because I was looking, I didn't realize this. I think you are the only person, maybe on the planet, who's played every single event this season. You have not missed a single one. How, like, do you think that definitely helps? Because I mean, the back and forth you were doing for a while had to have been draining. I can't even imagine, but like being in it every single weekend. I mean, you're even staying in Finland now, and you're playing again this weekend before coming back for Ledgestone. How does that help? You know, almost like you're grinding your skills to a point where you can play pretty much anywhere. And then does it ever wear on you?
Yes to all of that. I guess it definitely can be kind of long sometimes, especially the flights back and forth get to be pretty exhausting when I don't really sleep too well on planes. So it doesn't even feel like an off day. It just kind of feels like a waste of a day while I don't get to practice. I don't know. I mean, I kind of just wanted to give this season everything I've got. So I wanted to play every single event, give myself as many chances as I could to win and place well and get points and just kind of push in that sense. And yeah, I mean, I've played all the events. It's been a lot easier. Like when I was going back and forth, definitely a lot easier to go back to America as well. So like when I came over here for Ale and for Kona Beach Day, didn't play those events too well, and then went back to America and still played those events pretty well, which was nice. So I don't think it cost me too much as far as that goes. And then yeah, this is a week where it's like after the World Championships, we're kind of both like, man, it would have been nice to go home. But we're also thinking like if one of us wins this week, it's like we'll be happy that we stayed. So
for sure.
I don't know, it is a grind, but at the same time, like this is kind of what we do. This is, you know, like I play disc golf for a living. This is my job. This is kind of what I'm dedicating my life to at this point in my life. And so I feel like I want to give it everything I've got.
How's the mic?
Oh, so much better.
Oh, and these two guys after my own heart getting out there and grinding it out. Love to see it. No, I was gonna give you props because on Jomez, as I said, from now on, moving forward, if you're third, fourth card, like we can't like give up on you after playing around like that. Like you now put yourself in the hat of somebody who can play the best round ever, you know, and there's only a few people who we can do that with, like the Macbeths and the Rickies, who have proven like, hey, they've popped off and done unrealistic rounds in big situations. So
yeah, definitely.
That's pretty
I feel
cool.
like it helps to be able to have that possibility. I mean, like Goose did it final round this last weekend. Anthony did it the fourth round. So to have the ability to pop off like that and kind of keep yourself in it as long as you're like within 4 or 5 strokes, I think is huge going forward for trying to win tournaments.
And that's why I think, you know, I do have some things that I would see. I mean, we don't know. Gary might have some insider information on whether or not the beast is going to be around longer than we think it's going to be around. But when you look at that course, there's a couple holes that's like, can we get rid of it? Probably, right? But the beautiful thing, I think, of the beast overall is you're not guaranteed to go out there and shoot double digits. Like you can go out there and have a tough day and someone else goes out there and has a great day. And there could be 5, 6, 7, 8 shots changing. And that's why we saw the leaderboard. People were never out of it because they could make big jumps. That's one of the reasons why I don't really consider that like even though we are seeing some great scores at that course, I don't consider it a birdie or die course because there's so many holes out there where you're grabbing on for dear life to try to make pars if you are off the fairway a little bit.
I mean, that back stretch, I feel like especially is like the last like 6, 7, 8 holes even.
Yeah.
All really difficult, especially with the OB and like 16's terrifying kind of the whole round. You think about that one when you're trying to go to sleep, just like it's kind of in your head. And then even like the front 9 holes, like definitely the more gettable stretch of the course, but you can be off just a little bit. There's some bushes you can get into to where it's like you might not have a putt, or you might just, barely hit a tree or something to where it's just like you're an inch off, but it's just enough to make it a whole stroke.
Yeah.
There's not much when you say like you're like struggling, you're working hard to get these pars. It's a little bit different mindset. It's like you have to throw exceptional shots,
Yes.
regardless. And if you execute them, you get birdies. And if you don't execute them, it's bad. And it's a weird mindset is it's not exactly birdie or die, but it's that like birdie to bogey golf, but to an extreme. Where you just like you can't make mistakes. Your only option is to execute the shots, and or you get punished badly.
I don't
and then
remember.
On top of that,
Okay.
oh yeah,
No, go ahead.
It's one of the courses that just has that stretch where you're thinking about it all week long. And we play very few tournaments like that. I think one of them early on in the year was the Open at Austin. Every single player was thinking about playing hole 18 at Sprinkle Valley.
Yep.
And it just wears on you. It's that extra bit of mental fatigue where you're stressing about it, you're thinking about it the whole time. And then of course USDGC has the same thing. And honestly, I think that it's a really high caliber thing. It's something that we need at more Pro Tour stops because it challenges the best at their when they're trying their hardest. So I love the aspect, and I think it really adds this improvements and this piece to the game that we don't get at most events.
Yeah, the shot that jumps out to me when you're talking about, having to throw an exceptional shot to maybe still get birdie, but then if you don't, now a par might be struggle. I think it was either round 4 or the final round, and it was hole 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I think, for you, Goose. You didn't throw a great tee shot, and I think it was the final day. I think you were on Chase Card the final day. And, you had to move all, for those that don't know, 7 and 4, like, are basically parallel to each other. And so you end up getting like a bunch of people kind of like in the middle of the fairway because they really don't have anywhere to go. And you were in a position where you're like, I need to move these people out of the way. They might not even be looking at my hole. They might be looking at another hole. And so you had that whole ordeal. And I don't think people realize, because the camera angle, unfortunately, wasn't that great for your second shot. I don't think people realize how hard of a second shot that was. And how, if you're off a little bit and you hit one of those trees and goes soaring down the fairway, I mean, a par is probably almost out of the question if you're down the hill. And you gave yourself, if you got a little bit better skip, I don't know if you saw the coverage, your skip kind of was dull. But if you would have got a little better skip, you might have had like a C2 look at birdie there.
Right,
so
it was close.
That's kind of what we're talking about when we're saying like there are fine margins of like having to throw great shots. And I feel my thing with birdie or die courses is a lot of times if you go and try to throw this crazy shot, if you suck at it, you're still going to make par. So it's like there's really no risk. We're here, and we're going to get into it because in the FPO, they showed us exactly what I'm talking about down the stretch of what can get out of control in a hurry. But I do want to ask you guys this. I'm going to let you guys go to bed here very soon, but I have a couple more things. Hole 17. I think hole 17 is a fascinating hole because you have the backhand, which is a much more technical shot and very tough speed control wise to try to get something to land flat towards the basket. Don't throw it too high because you don't want it to fade out OB. But then you have the forehand of where it's like, hey, I'm just going to throw something over power. I'm just going to hyzer it in there. And I'm basically going to roll the dice on whether or not it hits and flops or it hits, gets up and rolls OB. So I'm curious to both of you guys, what do you like? Do you like that kind of hole of where, and I think both of you guys always rolled the dice with the forehand and Goose, you got a bad break, I guess, but it is, going into that hole, it's 50-50 of throwing the forehand, and you could have thrown the backhand like Nicholas did, but it's a much, much more difficult shot. So what are your thoughts on 17?
So first of all, I love the hole. I love the shot that you have to throw both ways. I think the forehand is a very demanding shot. You have to have a lot of power, get your angle just right, calculate the wind just right, just to throw the shot. And I think the backhand is even harder, trying to land it on that edge and everything there. So I like both of those aspects of the hole. I really dislike how luck based it is there at the end of the round. It's like I threw a worse shot round 4 and I was inbounds, and I threw a better shot round 5 and I rolled OB. So it's definitely very luck based on that hill, and I'm not a big fan of it. I've stayed in bounds many times, and yeah, just not the final round. So I'm not a big fan of that. I would love for some kind of change, but I don't even know how you would change a hole like that.
Throw
But at
backhand.
the end of the day, there is a pure line you can throw, so it does add to it.
Yeah, I think that's the beauty of the hole is you could throw a good backhand and not have to deal with the luck, but it's a harder shot. So do you want to risk it?
I feel like the problem is like the backhand is too much more difficult to where almost everyone aside from Nicholas ends up just throwing the forehand anyway. I think everyone who can throw a forehand the distance throws a forehand.
Right.
And then it's kind of just whoever gets lucky and versus unlucky.
I think
that's
they
my
could make
issue.
like a little barrier that moves out, and it's like a little elevated,
I could see
and so that
put a wall.
you have like a 20 to 25 foot
Yeah.
area to where if you throw the sidearm and hit, you're for sure staying. And if you
Right.
miss that area, even if you like skip up and hit, let's say it's like bricks or something and roll out, I think that would be good because I completely agree. I do think that the backhand, I'm kidding when I say throw a backhand because the backhand is so demanding as far as the angle and everything. And a lot of times it's a right to left crosswind, which I believe it was the final round too, which makes it even more difficult. You have to almost have a special disc in your bag to even be able to attempt the thing. And then the sidearm is just all luck. So I agree.
Right. I think my biggest issue too, like Yuli's saying, maybe having that rollaway thing would help with this. Is the sidearm is a very demanding shot. It's not an easy shot. It's not like you can just go out there and throw the shot. You have to be able to throw 450 feet and put it on the spot you want to put it on. So it's frustrating to me that it's a shot that not many people can throw. And then on top of that, it's just like the people that can throw it are then getting a 50-50 of a birdie or a 20-footer for par.
I don't like hole 9 has the barrier next to the basket, right? Of where it's if you throw a shot basically into that green, it's before it wasn't. Is it 10?
10. Or
oh
8.
yeah, hole 10. Sorry, hole
8.
10. Yeah, hole 10. Hole 10's got the barrier to the right of the basket. It used to not have that. Or at least I think the OB line was. You could go OB basically, but they did away with that, which I think was a good change because that is a high level shot in there. And still you can go OB left. There's a lot of trouble that you can do there. I think maybe on 17, something that they could do. And again, we don't know if the course is going to be around, but what are your thoughts? I know you might not like this, Goose, because it's taking away the forehand, but what if you like put trees or something off the tee box, similar to like how hole 18 has the trees down the right-hand side? You put trees or something down the left-hand side. So at least it forces everyone to have to throw that backhand.
Interesting.
Something like that, because I don't like the idea of putting barriers there because I don't know. I think to Yuli's point, he was making a joke, but it is like, if you don't want to risk it, if you don't want to risk the rollaway, throw the backhand. But then Ezra makes a good point. The backhand is so much harder than the forehand.
If we put trees up, though, that ace that Goose hit a couple years ago wouldn't have happened,
Well, will never happen again, which, hey,
Yeah.
he could be the only one to do it.
Protect it.
Right. The other issue with the rollaway barriers is it makes the backhand twice as easy as well.
Yes.
I'm not talking about barriers. I'm saying raise the green up and flatten it out.
Oh, make it
to where
flat.
like there's like a
so
30
spike
foot,
it. So
there's
you can
a
spike it to
30
flat
foot
area.
flat spot, and then you
I
can
don't
hit
hate
that spot.
I don't hate that.
And then if you hit that, 30-foot area, you're good. But if you hit before it and hit the barrier and you
I
roll
like
out of
that.
bounds, you're
I like
good.
that a lot.
And then the backhand
Nice.
also
I
has
like
a
that
chance
too.
to hit that.
I like that a lot because then there's actually a spot that's a good shot, and if you don't hit that spot and you roll away, you didn't throw a good shot.
Exactly.
Right.
I don't like barriers like that myself. I think that
Well, Ezra does. Just
To,
ask
to
about
your
hole
point,
15.
well,
Ask about hole 15 when you throw a shot 100 feet past the basket and it bounced back in. Have you seen that yet? Have you seen the replay of that?
Yeah, is that awesome? I love that.
It's lucky shots.
Did any of the
It's lucky
PDGA
shot.
come up to check that disc to see if it was PDGA approved with how much bounce
Here's
it
the
had
funny-
off
the
that
funny-
thing?
Here's the funny part about
The
this.
funny thing about hole 15 for me at the Beast is I threw
I threw every single tee shot OB long by 50 feet, and I ended up one down on the hole for the weekend. I made both putts for Paul at State OB, and then the one that came back off the wall I made for Boring. So I was one down on the hole. I threw them all OB long.
Oh man, you did almost ace that hole too. That thing was close. Goose, did you have a point you were trying to make?
The only thing I was going to say is that, like you said, you think the hay bales are a good thing on hole 10. And it's a great point that that's so similar to hole 17. Every player's throwing the backhand hyzer because it's the easier shot.
Yeah,
you don't
everyone's doing it. The forehand,
right? You don't see any
exist.
players throwing a forehand and landing it nice and soft on the green and not messing with the rollaway potential.
No,
because it's a 10 times harder shot. Nobody's doing that, and so because of that, they put up the hay bales, and everybody likes it because we all throw backhand hyzers.
I don't even think you can throw a forehand there because of the fence. Like the height is just not a it's a non-existent shot.
Well, I mean now we're gonna. Well, I was gonna say
we did.
No, well, not in the final round. He almost killed someone in the crowd.
In the final round, in the final round, he almost killed someone, and then from what that went be, he threw a forehand zone barely over the fence, just in front of the head.
That's still scary.
Perfect.
Yeah.
He's disgusting.
Super scary. Okay, we're gonna end on like maybe not the highest note, but then we're gonna finish on a high note if you guys are okay with that. So, Ezra, I don't know if you looked at your stats. But you led the field in circle 1 in regulation for the tournament at 58%. That means 52 out of the 90 holes, you had a birdie putt. The winning score ended up being 43 under par.
Oof.
So we did see a little bit of some putting. And I was thinking in my head, I was like, dang, did he actually like really struggle putting? Because I think the commentary was kind of building that up. But it really wasn't that bad. I know, obviously, you probably would love to have a couple putts back. I know the one on hole 6, I think it was. You would love to have that little putting fiasco right there back. But overall, I feel like you putted pretty good for the tournament. It was just there was a couple moments that I feel like you just would love to have those putts back. But then you were able to kind of bounce back and stay in it. How difficult was that versus coming off of your win where it felt like you were putting really well, you were throwing the disc really well, you didn't really have any kind of, oh no, what's going on, where this was the first time where we saw you kind of struggle, and I was thinking, oh gosh, is he just going to fall apart? And then you battled back really, really well. How hard was that?
It's tough out here, man. It's tough life we live, you know? I mean, it sucks to have the putting just completely pull down your tournament like that. I mean, like you said, based off of throwing, I probably should have won, you know? And that's tough. My putting was really, really good at the beginning of this season. I think I was maybe like close to leading the field in putting across circle 1 and circle 2. And then I started doing all my flights back and forth. And then my circle 1 putting, both putting, which kind of got lost. Came back to Mallorca for Zolv and Des Moines, was able to practice putt with my basket and my 20 putt alls, and got it locked in more. And then I've been here on Europe again. It's kind of gone away a little bit. So I definitely need to get that figured out. The circle 2 putting was fine this weekend. I think I was over 30% from C2, but yeah, the circle 1 putting, especially like the circle half putting, I missed a couple 15-foot putts, which is just unacceptable, especially if I'm trying to win a tournament. I am proud of how I was able to keep the throwing good. Like I didn't let it affect my throwing too much. I told him I would miss a putt, and then I would tell myself, like, I'm just going to keep throwing the shots good. I want to keep executing the shots and give myself looks. I'd rather miss a birdie putt in every single hole than to not even have a birdie putt. And so I think that helped a lot. So my throwing was able to kind of kill me in this event. But yeah, I've got to figure the circle 1 putting back out. Maybe I'll get some tips from Goose now that he's shredding on the putting green.
I think that is something that is a big growth step in a lot of players' games, of where sometimes you'll just be like, my putt's not here this week. Oh, well, not my week to win. And then you'll just kind of finish at like 20th or finish at 25th. And you could see that you weren't going to let that happen. And I think that's harder to do for a lot of people when you're so close and then you're just kind of struggling a little bit. I think it's a lot easier just to be like, it's not my week, things aren't going for me, and just slip to like a 15th or 18th place finish. And you were battling, and I mean, those putts were not easy down the stretch. Those putts were not easy to make, especially when you have a couple of those in your head.
Well, that's the thing too, is like
I had several, some like a lot of the putts that I missed were just barely off, but it was honestly like it was like the really really short ones that when those don't go in, then it's just tough to not think about them for the next putt, and that's really the biggest thing. So I don't know how to even practice for that. I guess I should make sure I make every single putt
Just
and then
don't
I
miss
don't
to
have
begin
to
with.
miss one. But it's just like you miss a 15-foot putt, then you step up to the next one, and it's like, how's it even possible to miss it? I just missed one. But then it's like, then I'm thinking about my grip, and I'm like, you want to like not think about it and just like have it be automatic and just flow through the putt and everything. But it's like I can't really control what dumb thoughts pop into my head, you know. So
Neely, is
I don't
that
know.
where like a pre-shot routine really comes in handy to just kind of get you like locked in and like because we've all been there where your mind starts wondering and you're like, I just missed a 15-footer. I look like a complete idiot. I don't want to do that again. And you start thinking about it. What are your thoughts on that?
Hey man, it's at the level they're playing at, it's the hardest thing that you could possibly do is miss a 15-footer and then just be like, oh, I'm still locked in, you know? Like it's literally tough because the nerves are so wild and the pressure is so high. I mean, they're playing for a world title on the biggest stage possible. So the fact that he was able to even make any after that is pretty incredible. And I'm not surprised at all that something like that can derail somebody a little bit into the confidence thing. Yeah, like he said, I mean, the best thing he did, I think he did figure it out with being like, hey, I just got to keep giving myself looks over and over. And one of the things, honestly, that I see in people like that is I kind of want to see him land at 30 feet after the 15-foot miss. Like he's got to see one of those go in. If he keeps parking them and parking them and parking them, like it's going to happen again and there's not going to be any confidence. So it's almost like I'm not going to tell you to throw it to 30 feet, but it's almost a good idea to give yourself or act like a 15-footer, somehow trick your mind into being like, okay, I'm going to put this one a little harder from 15 feet to make sure that, I get that feeling back of confidence. Cause it's tough to miss a short one and then have the confidence on the next one on the biggest stage possible with 10,000 people watching.
You could also just have black ice and that solves all problems.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing too, though, is like there's like that weird range of putting distance where it's not quite tapped into. I can just kind of fluff it in there and like take a bunch of speed off, but it's not quite a full putt so I can just do my normal stroke. Yeah. And it's like that 15 to 20 feet where I feel like I have to kind of go in between to where it doesn't spit out and everything. So then I don't know. Obviously, those thoughts aren't helpful either, but I think that's probably why my longer putts were fine the whole weekend because I was able to do a full stroke and just commit to them. But then there's like that really odd distance where it's just like kind of in between. So I need to figure out what stroke I need for that, or just maybe I just jam them and hope they stay in.
I mean, that's what Gannon does.
That's what Gannon does, yeah. And if you miss, you just say the basket's trash, which is,
Yeah. It's easy to stomach that though. If the basket spits it out, than to miss it.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. I did my job kind of.
Did you see the sign while you were out there? Well, it was on the grounds. Let me see if Mike can pull it up for us here. I'm not sure if you. Oh, no. I don't know if this was like.
I did see that one. Yeah, I saw that one whole 3. I think. Yeah.
There was taking a few weeks off and was looking a little small.
Okay, you're right.
There was some people thinking that they probably should put a little bit more space between the lets and the hit. Because there was some thoughts on the sign reading differently for some people versus other.
If you're not crap your pants once a week at the gym, you're not hitting hard enough.
Hey, I think it's justified because there's an apostrophe. Okay, you can see the let and then us.
Fair. But before we let you guys go, talk a little bit about the crowd because watching it and not being there, I think they did a phenomenal job of actually using the drone to show the crowds. I think the tournament directors and all the tournament staff did a phenomenal job of putting, bleachers and stadium seating in areas to where it wasn't just one hole looked sick. There was multiple holes throughout the course that really had a huge crowd. And again, sometimes it's all about, herding people all to one area to make it look way bigger than maybe it is. A disc golf course is a big spot. But talk a little bit about the crowds out there.
It was incredible. I mean, we expect it to be the best thing we've ever seen for disc golf. and I lived up to it and maybe even exceeded it. I think for me, for the most part, I don't try to pay too much attention to it and try to kind of stay locked in. But it was overwhelming. It was like impossible not to notice, especially on Sullivan Hole. Hole 2 comes to mind. You're throwing that forehand, the backside, that whole left side is just lined up. Just incredible. And then you get to like hole 16 as well. We've got people lining the entire fairway and wrapped around the green watching hole 17 as well. You have all those people right there. It was insane. It was just like this many people love this golf and want to like, be excited and watch. It was just, I'm just feeling grateful and blessed to even be on a lead card. For that opportunity.
Yes. The crazy thing, another one was you go to like hole 2, hole 3, all those. Like you're saying, we had the crowd between hole 4 and hole 7, tons of people just lining the fairways. And then you get to hole 11 and you'd be like, or 15, 16, 17, 18, and you're like, oh, these people weren't even following our card. They're just sitting here all day. So and the crowd doubles.
Yeah.
It was truly amazing. I played on Niklas's card for 2 rounds, and that was really fun to watch because the home crowd came out really strong for him. They were cheering so hard for every shot he threw the whole round. And I was getting tons and tons of cheers too, most I've ever gotten. It was really cool. Fun experience.
I know that was fantastic.
That was so cool.
But Niklas just had the home crowd.
I wanted to mention Niklas thing too, because Niklas and Goose being on chase card, I was on lead card, and we could hear the cheers coming. We could every time Niklas or Goose, who knows, but would make a good shot. It was just super loud, a couple holes in front of us, and so I don't know how that affected Gannon, but it was like that was pretty electric. We don't have that in the sport where you're like having other calls kind of.
It wasn't as pronounced, but we had the same thing at the Monster. I'd hear cheers coming through the woods from 3 holes behind me when I was on third card. It was they came out every single round all the way through the tournament, and the bleachers and the places for them to like set up was such a nice addition just to give fans a place to stand. And then it was terrifying on 18. You throw like a slightly errant shot, and you're like, I just threw a spike hazard Nico West into just a crowd of people.
They can't go anywhere.
Someone's getting hit, like, period.
Hey, man, I had a crazy experience, too. B pool 4th card, my card had like 400 people following it at Nokia.
What?
Yeah, there was like literally 400 people following it. It was me and Yona. And we were obviously probably the 2 most popular players there. And we had so many people. I was like, dang, I'm like on a lead card here. This is crazy.
So there was some people that were just like, I'm going out and watching Tampere today. I don't care. It's B pool or A pool.
Not Tampere. It was Nokia. Yeah. I think Tampere you actually had to have VIP tickets, but Nokia you could just come and watch for free.
So even though A pool's not even there, people are like, I'm coming out to watch disc golf. I don't really care who it is.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was the biggest card that maybe I've ever played on. And it was B pool.
That's
and
wild.
We were teeing off, at like 2:30, 3 o'clock, like the other people. But so it was a crazy experience.
Yeah, it's just such a good way to do it. Like they'd have people lined up on hole 1. They would watch all the people tee off all day long. So you just get that crowd for every single card all day. And then once lead card teed off, they all like follow the fairway and go with lead card. So it's really an ideal situation for everybody to get the best viewing they can.
Yeah, the drone shot when you guys were, I believe you guys were throwing your tee shots on 17, and then I think lead card was on 16 the final day. There was they had a drone shot, and there was people all over the place. It was really, really cool to see. All right, before we let you guys go, for those wondering, it is almost 4 o'clock in the morning, I think, over there. So big shouts to both these guys for staying up and being on the podcast tonight. Any new pet peeves have we picked up after our time over in Europe? You guys have been over there for a while now. Do we have any pet peeves?
Oh, I got one more question for Goose, though, before we go.
Okay, before pet peeves.
Before pet peeves. Because I know that the world wants to know. What are you telling yourself when you're out there fidgeting around and pumping yourself up after every single throw? Because I have a lot of people come up to me and be like, dude, what is he doing? Because you're slapping yourself, you're running up to it. Yeah. So talk us through a little Goose mindset real quick to let the people know.
So I play my best when I'm hyped up. I figured this out a long time ago. And if I can keep that going, I just keep playing well. I've got a few phrases that I say in my head, but for anybody that's looking at mental game, this is kind of the way I look at it. If you throw a bad shot, I find the key is you got to be pissed off about it. You got to be like, dang it, what are you doing? Why'd you throw that bad shot? Let's get over this. And then you're like, all right, now we got to focus up. Let's get this next one. So you got to give yourself that second of, hey, I made a mistake. What's going on with that mistake? You can't let this keep happening. And then you have to drive it forward. And you got to be like, let's look at forward progress. Now let's make this next shot. So to me, it just lets it go, keep it going. As for, I've got a couple mental cues. Marweed said this one to me a while back, which I think is funny. He's like, every time I play with you, Goss, it's one of my favorite things because I'll hear you give like a, come on, here we go, right before you throw. And you're about to throw the absolute piss out of the disc. And it's like one of his favorite things, like, here's it, and it like hypes him up. And I'm like, I do that a lot when I'm like, dude, you're about to just hammer this thing. Last thing I want to say is my dad being on the bag, huge thing to help the momentum keep going. He's got this thing my whole life. You know, he's a disc golfer. I play with him forever. Every time he makes a big putt, he gives a good old like, yeah, baby, right? And so all week long, every time I made a good putt, I just had that energy going. He's cheering it for me. I'm cheering it, running down my putts. So having that extra support and that, like, you know, something to like make the putts for really helps keep that energy going.
Yeah, and for those wondering, Goose is like this in practice too. He doesn't he doesn't change when it comes game time. He'll hype himself up for a practice shot as well.
Oh yeah, I'll hype myself up for a 20-foot putt, man.
All right, do we have any new pet peeves, fellas?
I'll throw one out there for you. I thought this one was super funny. Okay, and I'm not going to call out any names here, but okay, I'm going to say Bradley Williams. This isn't the name I'm calling out, but he made this point. We were having arguments on where someone's spot was, okay, which has always been kind of one of my pet peeves. And Bradley Williams at the end of it just said, I hate playing with Americans. And I was like, that is the funniest comment I've heard. But yes, after playing with the Europeans, I have figured out you walk up there, they give themselves the most reasonable spot. They trust the spotters. They do the thing every single time. You never have an argument with the European. They know exactly where they went out. We're good to go. It's the Americans that make a big deal about it. And that's
only some of them.
The pet peeve comes in. Yeah, well, yes, only some of them. But I haven't ever seen it from a European. So,
Goose, did someone in the crowd on 18 tell you that you crossed by the basket?
There are two people in the crowd. The guy that got hit, he said, "Hey man, I think you got screwed on your spot.
Reliable source.
I think you crossed right here."
If anything, you should be biased the other way. Like, no, man, you're way back.
Yeah, come on.
You weren't even close, bro.
Take a hike.
Yeah, so I did have that round 4, which was interesting, but I thought that was kind of funny, and I agree with it. I'm with you, Brad.
That's a good one. Ez, you got anything?
Nothing's come to mind. Must not have been that bad.
Yeah, you also don't drink drinks with ice, so you're fine. That's what I would say is we got to get ice over here, guys.
The bottles that don't have the caps that come off.
He's absolutely. That's
that
absolutely
and the
like
carbonation. We talked about
psychotic.
this. Wait, were you guys here for the carbonation water talk, or was that just me and Yuli?
I wasn't here for it.
We weren't here for
it. The color of the cap should be a designated color if it's carbonated.
I like that.
That'd be good.
I like that.
Ezra's got a
Just have a picture of bubbles on the thing.
Normal water has bubbles on it too, Yuli. That's the problem.
But it doesn't have to. It could just be clear on the bottle, and then you can just
marketing.
You can just have bubbles on it.
Just take the tap water, you'll find.
Ezra's been struggling with the driving here in Europe. He hates the stoplights that aren't overhead. They're like on the side, and then you don't know where to look. And then
well, we all know Ezra's one of the worst European drivers.
Dude, the signs there are.
I can't see the light anymore, so I just get screwed.
You know, that's where the pedestrians supposed to walk.
The signs there are insane. It's like a big X with a circle. I'm like, am I allowed to go here? It's a freaking X. Am I supposed to go? Then another one will be like a half X. I'm like, does that mean I'm good? The only sign you can read is when it has like an arrow and it has an X over the arrow. And I'm like, okay, can't go that way. But then the next sign's a complete X. Am I not allowed to go there at all?
I think the half X is like no parking, and the full X is no stopping. So you can go there. You're just not allowed to like stop.
You think. You don't know. You just been doing that.
All I know is Ezra might be the worst European driver I've ever seen. He almost shattered his ankle and couldn't play European Open one
I played
year.
European Open that year, and I got third place.
You almost didn't though. Like you were like,
Crazy.
and then you did it like the next day when you were already jacked up your ankle.
Yeah.
I don't know who's worse, Terry or Ezra on the little moped bikes.
I haven't had any accidents this season yet, so
Thank
we'll get
God.
about
Jeez. All right. Well, you guys. Oh, go.
I don't know
Yes.
if you
Keep it going.
have talked about this. Ezra and I talked a lot about this, was the drug testing. We were confused because I was told at the beginning of the tournament there's going to be drug testing, and that the only people to be drug tested were the top 4 finishers in the tournament. And since we were 2 of them and no one ever talked to us about it at all, I was surprised at the end of the day. Going back to the point, I've just heard it through the grapevine, more or less. And then on top of that, Ezra was like kind of like hoping he would get drug tested to kind of like clear some things up, because so many people think that he's on performance enhancers.
But Ezra, you can't just go and get drug tested, right?
wow.
Like you don't need someone else to administer it. You can do it yourself if you want.
Nobody's gonna believe that. Oh,
Right.
Too much AI. I agree. Too much AI.
So
wait, there was
should,
no drug testing.
You should do an inquiry and see what's up about that. I don't know.
I heard that
didn't
they
hear
drug
anything.
tested a couple people
You heard that they drug tested some people?
in like a
I don't
comment.
know if it was a joke, but I heard one person got drug tested twice.
Yeah, I
But I
heard
feel like
Brayden
that- I feel like
Sides
it
got
has to be
drug
a joke.
tested twice.
That's pretty funny.
I don't know anything about it, so
Can we clear something up before I let you go too? I made a post on Twitter saying that if you go and you lift in the gym, you will throw farther. And there was surprisingly a lot of people that were disagreeing with me and thinking that getting stronger in the gym has no correlation to distance in disc golf. Ezra, would you like to jump in on that question?
I'll tell you.
not gonna
I'll
agree
tell
with
you
you full-
this. I don't. I'm gonna take this one because Ezra's thrown far ever since I've known him. He's always been big. Not the guy to ask, right? Not the guy
True.
to ask. AB has gained more distance this year.
He doesn't lift weights though.
Yeah, he
No.
does.
No,
No.
He
These
does.
Twitter people. No. These Twitter people told me that he does
okay.
not lift weights.
I'm
AB does
telling
not
you,
lift
he's
weights.
put on muscle this year, and he's
Not from
throwing
lifting
it
weights.
farther. Am I right? Because you guys go to the gym with
Yeah.
him. So now you
The
guys
2
take
people
over
that
with my
have
comment.
worked out with him like pretty regularly this whole season.
Gooseman, there's 4 or 5 people on Twitter that will tell me right now that AB
know.
does not lift weights. So you're wrong, and these guys on Twitter are right.
So now you guys take over. Does it help?
I think that there's no way it can't help. I think that gaining strength to an extent has to help. I think there are other things that might help more, like form, technique,
course.
things like that. When people are like, hey, I'm just going to go to the gym and hope I throw farther, it's not necessarily going to happen. Number one reason that both of us lift in the gym is health and longevity. I think the injury prevention and keeping yourself on tour longer, increasing the length of your career, things like that are way more important than the little bit of distance you'll be getting, especially at his level of fitness. Like if he's a little bit stronger, it's not going to help, tons versus, me, maybe so. Maybe if I got absolutely jacked, I would throw a lot farther. But the main thing is just keeping the rotator cuff, keeping your legs, your joints all intact is such an important part of the game.
Yeah, injury prevention for sure. I think.
100%.
I don't know. I like Yuli said, I'm not actually the best guy to ask, because I started going to an actual gym at the same time I started building my technique, kind of. So I've kind of been in good shape ever since I was playing disc golf seriously. So it's hard for me to see it like a improvement from myself. So I've kind of always thought that it's made a pretty marginal difference, like a small difference if any, just because there's a lot of people that throw really far that aren't really in that good of shape. But I don't know. But I mean, Brody, maybe you're the person to ask since you.
Yeah,
I feel like
I
the most.
literally did it. I did a study for you guys. I got super fat. I didn't lift weights,
Right.
and it was very hard for me to throw far. Now I'm a little bit less fat. I'm a little bit stronger, and I throw far
Right.
again.
I'm definitely.
I didn't change my form.
Hey,
I didn't
Maybe
change my
my
form.
technique
Hey,
sucks. Maybe
hey,
if I lost the muscle, maybe I'm only throwing 400 feet. Maybe my technique's trash.
Yeah, maybe you have bad technique.
I'm in some of the worst shape I've been in a long time, and I'm throwing it way farther than I have
True.
in 5
You'll be
years.
ripping.
Like I'm not
I think
kidding.
you'll be
I'm
alright.
like,
It
I'm
is.
the truth. I'm throwing
It's
it
dad
farther.
power, Yuli. It's dad
No.
power.
I'm saying it's true. He's throwing far. Yuli's not in that bad of shape, but he is throwing very far.
He is still far. I
Yeah.
will attest to what you said about AB though. AB has been lifting a lot of weights. He has gotten a lot stronger, and he is throwing so much further than I've ever seen anybody throw in my life. So
Ever.
I
will
still don't
attest to
believe you. I'm listening to these Twitter people.
that. Listen to the Twitter people.
Now, if you do suck like form wise and you like swoop and nose up, if you go and get stronger, you're just going to throw farther, but not in the right direction. Like it's not going to magically all of a sudden just fix that, but you will throw farther. It'll just be like up and to the left probably. But you guys got anything else? Goose, I think you just had a jersey drop or something. You guys any promotion stuff you guys want to drop?
I did.
Ezra
Yeah.
won't sell me a disc, which is sad.
I did do one, Brody. Yeah, right.
If you
I
guys
want you to
check out all
sell
the
me on
merchandise-
one. I want you to sell me on something. I'm getting ready for Ledgestone. I'm trying to get hyped up here.
Yeah. No, it'll be fun. We should do a video for Ledgestone. That's another thing we should promote. Brody,
Well-
we got to run back like a worst shot triples video or something for
Calvin-
Ledgestone.
Yeah, Calvin says he's probably out. Because he's playing this. He basically said he's playing this tournament. So by the time he comes in, but you guys I know are crazy enough to do it. So
We'll be there Tuesday morning ready to write, brother.
Oh yeah.
So yeah,
Ready
so
to
we
do it.
might. You're going what day? Tuesday?
We'll be back. We'll be there Monday night. So yeah, Tuesday morning would be good to film.
Oh, so maybe I should leave Monday then instead of Sunday.
Yeah.
Kelsey will like that. When are you leaving, Yules?
I'm leaving Monday. Yeah,
Oh, I'll leave Monday. I don't give a rip.
I'm leaving
Heck,
Monday.
I'm
I
leaving
don't know
Monday.
what I get there at like 3 on Monday.
Okay.
Heck yeah,
So I'm gonna get
All
like
right.
a
Yeah, we
evening
did.
round for
Sell
sure.
me on.
Sunday.
Sell me something before you go. Sell me something. Go, what do you guys have? What can I buy?
We'll follow you on YouTube. Goose and I have been doing the practice rounds this season since Brody hasn't been in every single event. We've been grinding the
Okay,
YouTube videos
shots
out.
fired for no
We
reason.
just,
Wow.
well, hey man, we still watch on the channel. We just want you to play the events, brother. But we just got the front nine posted for the Total 2 Open this weekend, so we're still in fill-in for 1 week. So people want to go check that out. We did do a tournament recap for the Worlds in that as well. So definitely check out front nine on my channel, back on Goose's channel. That should be dropped pretty soon. And
Yeah.
then
I had the jerseys dropped last week, so if you want to go check those out, I'm really happy with how those turned out. So make sure you check those out. And then we should have a disc coming out at some point in the near future. So make sure to stay posted for that.
excited for that one.
Give a little,
Can we get what
teaser.
kind of disc? Maybe not a stamp, but what kind of disc?
what kind of little hint can we drop?
Is it just a straight vulture?
It's not a vulture. It's not a vulture, but it is a disc. It is a Discraft disc. And it's like those are a theme that we've got going on. Like we kind of poke fun at the courses we play sometimes and certain holes and certain trees and branches and stuff. So it's kind of in line with that. So if you guys watch YouTube videos, maybe
I
Janky.
you'll-
like it.
It's
I like it.
janky. Janky disc coming soon. The
Janky,
goose.
people are gonna love- people are
Janky
saying they
goose.
like it.
Well, believe
their
me, it's not
alternative.
janky.
It's their alternative channel.
Not alternative to janky.
Fair enough. All right. Well, boys, congratulations. Great tournament by both of you guys. You guys definitely made the tournament exciting, definitely down the stretch. And congratulations on the finish. Good
Thanks
luck
for
in
the
the
points too. Appreciate that.
Yeah. I told him, Yuli. We
Oh,
got
yeah.
big points from
Heck
them.
yeah.
Enjoy playing a tournament now that no one's going to care about or watch. It'll be a nice little off week. Gary, that was a joke. Chill out.
There's some good names there. We got Ricky.
No,
Ricky
it's
throwing it
gonna
down.
be a good tournament, but it
Wait,
is
Calvin
kind
Nicholas.
of
Good names. We're sitting right here. Come on. That's all you need to focus on.
If you guys get shafted from feature cards, you know I'm gonna text you about it. I'm gonna love it.
You can text me.
What do we think the percentage of getting a lead card? Tell me your percentages, and then I'll let you guys go. Percentage of getting
0%
a
for me,
feature,
and then I'll
feature
let you say
card.
whatever you want to.
I think I might be a little more than 0%.
All right.
Hey, I hate that actually.
In the beans.
All right, goose in the beans.
I'm not, those are beans I'm not eating, actually. I'm going to pass on those.
I am.
Thanks
I'm
for
eating
staying
bread.
up, guys. I appreciate it. Get some sleep. Good luck this week.
We'll do. Thanks,
Thanks,
guys.
guys. Good
Appreciate
luck.
having us on.
All right,
Yeah.
later, boys. All right, there you have it. Two top finishers at Worlds, man. That was exciting. When I saw that they were playing together on league card, I was like, ooh, something might be brewing here. Something might be brewing. I like their chances down the wire. It's just Gannon Burr, man. The dude
Something
figures
else.
out a way to win.
Yeah.
You haven't really missed much because we didn't really talk about anything before we got them on. I don't know if we have Sully yet.
He's in the waiting room.
He is in the waiting room. Perfect. All right. Well, we're going to bring another top finisher from this past weekend, a name that kind of came out of nowhere these last couple years and has now been a predominant force on leaderboards. We got Sully, the Tipton Sullivan, joining us now live on tour. Oh my gosh, he's in the blackness too. Where are you at?
I just got off the plane, and so now I'm in the car driving home.
It's perfect timing. Perfect timing. Back in the United States.
Yep.
He's not driving everyone too. Just he made that very clear. He's not the one driving and FaceTiming at the same time. But Sully, appreciate you jumping on Tour Life for the first time, brother. What a crazy tournament that must have been. I want to get into the tournament, but I got to just get a little background of where you came from. When did you start playing disc golf? Just give us a little background a little bit for maybe some of the people that don't know about how you started disc golf.
Yeah, for sure. Grew up in Birmingham, Alabama, and got into disc golf when I was like 11, but never really played tournaments until like later, like probably 6 years after that, just because focusing on wrestling and baseball were like my two focuses there, and so I never really had time for tournaments, but always played disc golf. I would go out to the disc golf course, throw one disc, run to cut weight for wrestling, and then I would always just go out and play. But once college came is really when I started taking it a little bit more seriously in bigger tournaments, and that was kind of more of like the fast track story. But got into disc golf because I was watching Dude Perfect, and then some random guy named Brody Smith like popped up and was doing frisbee trick shots, and then so when I'm 12 years old,
I'm getting all these guys that are now just dominating the sport now. What the heck is going on?
Yeah, you can find some old YouTube videos of me at 12 years old and a buddy with some frisbee trick shot videos out there. If you search hard enough. But that's kind of like where it all started.
I got to call out Gannon when we get him on here, because in his post-round speech, he said, like, ever since I picked up a disc golf disc, all I wanted to do was like win this tournament. And I was like, I don't think that's true. I think you picked up a disc golf disc thinking it was a frisbee initially, but then you learned out what disc golf was, and then he has turned into an absolute monster. But what the first question I have for you is, at what point? Because we've seen like shots of you. I think USDGC was maybe the first time that your name really came on the radar for a lot of people. At what point did you think that you had the ceiling of, being a top finisher at a world championship? When was the belief of like, hey, this is a reality, this is something in my future? When did that happen?
Yeah, for me, I really saw it Ledgestone right before USDGC. I finished 12th there. And that was really like my first confidence booster of like, okay, I can actually hang with these big dogs. And still then I was still like pretty new to like big tournaments and stuff like that. But yeah, USDGC probably gave me like the biggest amount of boost at one time. But yeah, I kind of already knew, like, just coming from like an athletic and competitive background, like whatever I really want to set my mind to, I know I can, really push to the top of whatever I put my mind to. And so, with disc golf, USDGC probably gave me the biggest confidence booster for sure.
What has changed in your game to kind of lead you into that spot now where we see you, I think it was like going into this tournament, outside of the couple, European events before Worlds, I think you were having like top 15 finishes at almost every Disc Golf Pro Tour event going into this one. When I first saw you, I was kind of like, oh, that's just a kid that's got a really good forehand. that was kind of like the thing that was going around. Oh, Sully, he's got a great forehand. And now after watching you play at Worlds, you have a pretty well-rounded game. Everything's pretty much well-rounded. Your putting was incredible, making big putts all over the place. What kind of talk me through a little bit of like how you've transformed your game to get to the point of where you are now?
Yeah, obviously, like my first full year of disc golf when I was like 11, 12 was only forehands, and with like a baseball background, the forehand came super natural. But yeah, like even over the last like year, I've definitely had to work on the backhand a lot, just because it was something that I always had, but just wouldn't rely on it all the time. And so worked on a lot, this off season and traveling with Gannon. He critiques things and he mentions things, and so he's helped me out a lot with that. And then, but yeah, as far as my game, like too much really hasn't changed as far in like the last 3-4 years, except for like consistency.
Okay.
It's more just about consistency this year for me. Making those putts when I need to. Landing inbounds. Like I've always been able to like kind of throw these same shots, but not always, executing them like when it's time. And so this year has been about execution and just consistency. For the most part.
There's so many guys that can throw the shot, right? You give them 10 chances, they can throw the shot. The big difference is the guys that can do it 9 out of 10 times. And then the one time they don't do it, they throw it to like 40 feet. Right. Yeah. And that's kind of what you're talking about, is just being able to consistently throw those shots. But then also when you throw a bad shot, it's not detrimental and like, super sporadic.
Yeah.
I do have to ask, coming into this tournament, how much different is playing in front of the crowd? Because you were, leading the tournament after round 1, you're on lead card. How is, and you've been in big areas too, but this tournament's unlike anything else. How is that for the nerves?
Yeah, it was so much different this tournament than any tournament I've been a part of, because like USDC 2022 or 23 was pretty big, and Worlds was big last year on Chase Card, but this was like something I've never seen in disc golf before.
Yeah.
Which is like incredible. But yeah, like the nerves are always there, for sure, especially at the World Championships when you want to perform really well. And yeah, it was just crazy, but I kind of got excited and like wanted to perform well for all the people watching. So I was pretty pumped about it. Yeah, and one thing that I've noticed too that is something that I feel like I need to work on, like with the nerves, like the forehand doesn't really, like the forehand's there always, but I even noticed like, okay, there's some moments where my backhand, which has been consistently good this year, I saw a little bit flaws and I was a little bit nervous with the backhand, so that needs some work with some pressure for sure. But yeah, it was just incredible playing in front of so many people.
Yeah, is that just basically just more reps at putting yourself in those positions to throw the bat? I mean, how do you can't really practice that, right? You can't really practice being nervous out. I mean, I guess you could put money on the line playing with Gannon, and that might make you a little nervous, but it's not the same as playing in front of 10,000 people for a world championship.
Yeah, it was crazy. Like, yeah, because the nerves were there. Most nerves I've ever had for disc golf, for sure. But I don't know. I look back at like my wrestling career, wrestling in like the state finals since my freshman year in front of like 20, 30,000 fans, and it's you against the other guy in front of you, and you have to, beat that guy. Like, I remember the nerves for wrestling just being so incredibly, like, even more than disc golf, even like the state title, the world championships is like feels bigger than like a state title, but once I did something like since I was 4 years old,
like
so much pressure on that one moment, to get the job done, because you worked so long for it. And so I just remember like what wrestling was, and the nerves are very similar to disc golf, but it's a different feel. And I would actually say it's probably not even as much as it was in wrestling. And so I've adapted a little bit to like competing under nerves and, calming myself down. But yeah, as far as the backhand, it's just like, okay, calm yourself down, realize you throw the shot. But yeah, experience helps. So it was nice to have that experience and to learn from it.
Yeah. Then
Speaking of calming
Go, Gary,
yourself
go.
down, like I think one of the big testaments to like your ability to handle the nerves was, you were on lead card in round 2 and round 3, but you fell off lead card for round 4, and a lot of players I think would let like that big of a stage, it kind of crumbles them a little bit and they fall off, but you fought back onto lead card again. Like, what is it that you're telling yourself to stay calm, to deal with those nerves, going into round 4, to be like, I'm going to get back to that spot up there again?
Yeah, it was really like, I just got to stop thinking about other people's game, watching people just shred a course, because I knew people were going to do that at the Beast. And I just had to stop thinking about what other people are going to do, just focus on my game, take it one shot at a time. And it really wasn't about, round 4 of, okay, I got to shoot hot to make the lead card. It was really just calming myself down, and I knew if I do that, I'll play really well. And if I make lead card, that's great. If not, then continue to just keep punching my way back up.
I thought a great question. I might have been Brian Aderhold that might have interviewed you after, I believe it was round 4. He was talking about hole 15 and how your play up until this point was throwing that little forehand kind of flip up layup shot. And you kind of mentioned how you just didn't really have a good confident shot to attack that. But if you needed to, you would. And I think that is so cool about certain holes that we get to play in disc golf. We don't get to have that many holes of where course management is actually a thing. And you actually have to think, what's the best for me? A lot of times it's just aggressive. Talk a little bit about how, you probably played on cards with most people going for that. How are you still, thinking to yourself, this is the right plan for me. This makes sense. I'm not giving myself a birdie look, but this is how I'm supposed to play the hole.
Yeah, absolutely. I knew if I just laid up, played for par every round, I would definitely be saving myself strokes for sure. Like, I was thinking, okay, we got 3 rounds here at the Beast. If I go for it and get it one round, that's great. But then there's a potential to like hit these trees early, which I've done in years past. And I knew if I just play for par, it's going to save me, even if it's just 1 or 2 strokes throughout the tournament. It's worth it, because those strokes definitely come down and mean a lot, definitely at the end of the tournament. But yeah, I think about like hole 3 at the Beast, playing it very different from everyone. Just chip forehand, which a lot of people do, but then another forehand placement to another forehand, which the third shot was like much longer for me, but I felt so confident just hitting that gap. With another forehand and putting it pretty close. And yeah, I watch people full send over the OB and have like an easy birdie or even like a eagle look. But yeah, I gotta, focus on, my strengths, what I feel comfortable in. And yeah, that's what I took into a lot of those holes.
Yeah, I love that. I love people willing to play to their strengths. And unfortunately, I think sometimes we play courses where they just like demand you to everyone throw the same shot, and we don't get to see a lot of different strategy off the course. And we definitely got to see that, especially with those last 4 holes coming in at the Beast. People played a lot of those holes differently, and sometimes for good and sometimes for bad.
Sully, are you at a point now in your career where you think you can win?
Yeah, I feel super confident, whether it's like, this year or whether it's next year or the year after that. I'm really confident that I'll definitely take one down. Yeah, I just feel so confident in my game right now that I can just I visualize it sometimes. And so, yeah, I'm pretty confident that I'll get one eventually for sure.
And then I guess a follow-up question is, you have so many hobbies and I've heard through the grapevine that you weren't even sure you were going to tour this year. Where are you now? Is this like a lifelong career now for you, or is this just kind of a stop along your life path, or are you at the point now with so much success that you're like, no, this is my thing, like I'm a disc golfer?
Yeah. Beginning of the year, I was like kind of stuck in the position of like, okay, just graduated college. Probably won't make a ton of money this year. I was like, oh man, should I just go ahead and get started on some work stuff, get a head start there? It was kind of like, it was up and down. And then probably got to a point where I was like, okay, I'll just play a couple events. And then, yeah, Gannon called me one day, and it was literally the day before I was going to like tell like DJ, like, yeah, I'm probably not going to play like everything this year. He called me. I was like, hey, I heard you're not thinking about touring full time. It's like, I just got a car, tour with me. You can drive. We'll split everything. You know, it'll help out a lot. And I was like, dude, like that actually changes the game for me for sure. And so Gannon actually like kind of got me back into it this year full time. And we were joking after round 4 together. And he's like, dude, if you beat me at the Worlds,
Yeah.
I'll you back.
I was just thinking about
Yeah.
that. How hilarious would
Yeah.
that be?
Created the
Yeah.
monster.
But yeah, like this year has been incredible. Really good disc golf year. And so, yeah, future for disc golf, I definitely see competing longer in disc golf for sure. Whether that's the next several years, you know, lifetime, I'm not sure what that looks like, you know, at the exact moment, but definitely for the next, you know, few years playing disc golf.
Yeah, love that. Yeah, I was actually just going to ask you where you thought your ceiling was, but clearly the ceiling, you know, winning a tournament, that would be as high as you could possibly go. Talk a little bit about these upshots. You're starting to make a name similar to almost like a Greg Barsby, right? Of where when you watch Barsby from 100 feet, 120 feet, everyone pays a little bit more attention. And now you're starting to have that a little bit with your forehand upshots where you're just hitting basket all over the place. You had the big throw in at Worlds last year. I think did you have another one this year, or did you almost make a couple?
Yeah, I've had like 5 or 6 big throw-ins this year, and then I think one was videoed at Austin. Yeah.
And then you almost made it from the woods on 14.
He made one. I saw it this last week. I don't know which one it was.
Well, I'm talking about Worlds now. He almost made the one in Worlds.
No,
in
that's
14.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Oh, you said you saw him make one.
Yeah, he made one.
Did you forget you made one this tournament?
I think I made one this tournament. And then it was also round 1 on my layup on 15 at the Beast. There's a video out there where I hit the cage on that one too. So yeah, I had like maybe 3 or 4 medal hits this week, and then I think I made one.
Yeah, the forehand putt, which was kind of electric.
Oh yeah,
awesome.
The forehand putt too.
Forehand putt. Where do you get the touch from that? A lot of people struggle when it comes to forehands to like have the touchy forehand shots. Where do you get that?
Yeah, I don't know. I find that really, really hard to teach, like that touch thing, because it's more just kind of like not doing like a ton of power with it. It's just, I don't know. Whenever I have my zone in my hand, it's more mental for me. I feel like it's like, okay, I feel so confident, you know, I can run it from here and not go long. And so I just kind of go for the basket, you know, just a little high Annie, just let it load in there. But then there's other times where it's like, okay, I don't feel super confident that I'm going to put it close. So I'm just going to like lay it up. But I would say like 90% of the time, I feel confident that I can give it a really, really good chance to run it. And so I do a lot of times on those upshots, you know, I try to throw it in a lot.
Yeah, if you are struggling with that, I highly suggest go back, watch some of the upshots that he throws at Worlds. I think you do a great job of not overusing your arm. I think that's a lot of times a lot of people they'll almost try to do the same motion for their upshots and with a forehand as they do as like a drive.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so hard to have touch when you do that, versus you kind of keep it high and tight, a lot of wrist snap. And it's fun to watch, man. I'll tell you that much. It is fun to watch. Where do you go from here now? The rest of the season, you know, what are the goals looking like? What tournaments do you have kind of circled that you're like keying in on? What's the future?
yeah, I got a just off week right here, and then hitting up every single event after this, all the way through tour championships. But yeah, the things that I got, highlighted in my head is Ledgestone coming up this week. I just love that course a lot. It's one of my sponsors, so I enjoy my time at Ledgestone always. But yeah, I guess the other big one that I always love is USDGC.
Yep.
It fits my game super well. A lot of big forehands out there. I've got history at that course. I love playing there. That's probably the big one that I've circled that, definitely want to take my time to really, really, tone in on that tournament and focus in on that one.
Love it. All right. So it is your first time on the show. Something that we like to always ask people is pet peeves, stuff that gets under their skin. We've had some crazy ones. We've had some blah ones. So there's no pressure. But do you have anything? You got anything that gets under your skin when it comes to disc golf?
I would say most things really don't get under my skin or really get me too bad. But I would say the biggest thing for me is slow practice rounds. Like I'm a pretty fast player. Like practice rounds, I look at the hole. I know I'm gonna throw. I might throw 2 or 3 of things that I could do, but I really don't throw a lot of shots that I'm never going to throw on this hole. Now, if it's just like a practice round back home, I'll try a bunch of different random stuff. But, or if it's just like a late round and we're just having fun. But, yeah, slow practice rounds, I hate if I'm stuck behind like a really, really slow card who like walks really slow, takes a lot of time. And I'm just like
10 putts at every basket.
Yeah. I mean, I get the putt thing a little bit more than just like, I don't know. I'm just, but also that's like me. I play fast. I like to play fast. And yeah, so if it's a really slow round, that probably me and Gavin Babcock talk a lot about that. Like, why are these people so slow? Like, let us play through or stuff like that. That's probably like the only thing that really gets under me a little bit. But other than that, like, I'm usually pretty chill with everything.
I like it. Slow rounds. I'm all for fast pace of play out there. You got anything to promote? Anything coming through the pipeline? Anything that you can send people to?
Yeah. Yeah, with Ledgestone coming up next week being one of my main sponsors, I got a couple of discs that just dropped on site. And so we'll have those available at Ledgestone if you're in there. And also like my brand new fundraiser disc just came out. So I have all of those on hand at the tournament.
Heck yeah.
Vending. So I'll be vending at Ledgestone. But yeah, and then like just the socials, Sully Disc Golf on Instagram and YouTube. Started doing some more YouTube vlog type stuff, and so it's been nice kind of getting into some of that stuff this year. And so but yeah, that's probably about it right there.
Love it. Gary, you got anything else for Sully?
Who's winning in a wrestling match between you and Gavin?
Oh man, Gavin's got so much weight on me. He's really, really strong, and we're both two very different styles of wrestling. He's big, come here, let me squeeze you and throw you. I was more I'll stay my distance, be fast, get to my legs and do a little bit more like finesse and kind of funky kind of wrestling.
I love it. Yuli, you got anything?
Yeah, I do. So out of everybody on tour, what part of their game or anybody out there do you look at and you go, man, I wish I had that. That's real nice.
Dude, I mean, everyone looks at AB's power backhand. I heard y'all talking about that earlier. Gannon's putt just seems like automatic sometimes. I'm trying to think of some underrated things that I see a lot of. I don't know. I even look at your putt, Yuli, a lot. It's like, man, dude, he's just always consistently just in the basket. But I would say just like either Gannon's just like clutchness, just like making it happen when it needs to. But yeah, just those backhands, seeing people just rely on those backhands, something that, I just really, really want to be able to rely on, because I think if I can get a really, really strong backhand, which it's pretty good right now and it's been good this year, but getting it to that next level, I think, having that combo would it'd be pretty nice to have any like all those guys like AB, Gannon.
Yeah.
And they have the 2 best backhands. It's just like crazy to watch.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it definitely has shown that you have improved your backhand though over the years, because so many courses are so much more advantageous if you do have a backhand versus a forehand, and you're finishing top of the leaderboard in a lot of these events. So it definitely has shown that you're making waves there. Enjoy your off week, brother. You deserve it. Incredible tournament. It was fun watching you this past week. Hopefully I'll see you up at Ledgestone. Safe travels.
Awesome.
And get after it, man. It's good to
Yeah.
see.
Yeah, thank you guys. I'll see you all at Ledgestone, and good luck to everyone.
All right, there you have it, folks. Sully, watch out for him. USDGC, dark horse, could make a run there too.
He's kind of like that. He's kind of a major guy now too.
He might be a major guy
No,
too.
he is.
He was big at Champs Cup. He came on late.
Champs Cup this year, I think the year before too, and then USDGC Worlds.
This tournament, I was gonna say
Worlds
this tournament
last year.
too. He was the guy that was pushing Gannon final day.
Yeah,
No, I mean, obviously some Nicholas and Goose kind of came on late when some other
Sully was one back after the front nine or something.
But Sully was pushing it, man. He was pushing it. It was getting exciting. All right, boys. Let's great guess, but we got a lot to unpack. The first thing I want to unpack, I needed to get Ezra and Goose to sleep because they were on, but I got to talk about give me 2 minutes of ratings talk. I don't get to do it very often.
Ooh.
Just give me 2 minutes of ratings talk here.
Let's turn it
Get
into
your bingo
10,
card ready.
Because I got
Stamping the bingo card right there.
some too for that.
Okay, Yuli's got some too. All right, here we go. A little ratings talk. So, if we still think ratings is a good idea and is a metric that we should use for whatever reason, the metric of not, hey, he just shot a course record by 5 shots. Like, no, that's not good enough. People don't understand how good of a round this is. We need to make some other arbitrary number to tell people how good. Makes no sense to me. We all know that a 14 under par at that course is better than any of those rounds at Memorial that are higher rated than that. No smart person in disc golf is thinking that those rounds at Memorial were better than what Ezra did at that course. Okay. So right there makes no sense to have this arbitrary number. Secondly, the fact that we saw rounds that were higher than this at the birdie or die course at the major previous to this one is absolutely crazy. But I was watching a Disc Golf World. Shout out to Disc Golf World. They're doing some good stuff out there. They had like recaps after every round. And I think this person in the comment section did the best job I've seen of explaining the big issue about ratings. And he goes like this. He says it's all relative to par. The final round at EDGF, even par, was rated at 983. During round 2 at Worlds, at Tampere, the monster, even par was rated 1013. So right there, you're like, oh, if you shoot even on this course, 983. You shoot even on this course, 1013. So what are we all thinking? Wow, this course is so much harder. It's 30 points harder. That's a massive difference. However, because of these drastic stroke margins between the two courses, a minus 14 on both courses rated almost exactly the same, Yuli. So even though 30-point difference was between even par, shooting 14 under on both these courses shot exactly the same. Essentially, the easy courses were able to catch up to the harder courses because of how valuable each stroke was on the easy course. And that's the big problem is on these easy courses, each stroke is so many more points, right? And then on these hard courses, each stroke is like little bit. So these easy courses, they can catch up. And right there, I think that's a perfect way of explaining it, of where ratings are busted and we should never talk about them ever again on the pro level.
Listen, I played the B pool is one of the greatest places you can play at. late tee times. Okay. Huge crowds. Same course as the other people are playing, ratings 15-point higher. When I got merged in with the regular field, okay, from the B pool, I was tied with a guy where I was beating him in rating points by 10 points. We were tied, played the same courses, same score. And I had a higher rating than him for the tournament. How does that make sense? We're at the World Championships, tie ball game, mano a mano. But I played a higher rating than him in the tournament.
Yeah, it's crazy. And, I was texting a lot in the group being like, dude, there's so much PDGA propaganda going on where they were like constantly, Yuli, the live commentary, constantly hammering in PDGA ratings, talking about PDGA ratings. I don't care about the PDGA. Tell me what their score is.
You don't, but
where
here's
they
the thing.
shoot.
The amateurs are brainwashed into thinking that ratings are king. So they do care. They do care because they don't understand the point that you're trying and that you have. Well, I guess not trying, that you've made. And that is when it comes to the pro level, when it comes to the best of the best and playing the hardest courses in the world, the rating means nothing. That number means nothing. What matters is, okay, this guy just shot the best round ever at this course ever. Who cares what the rating is? Let's talk about the number.
Yeah.
The actual number that he threw.
That
was 14 under par, which will never ever be touched again. It won't ever be touched again.
That's where it's just like, it's crazy because it could be.
Yeah, but was it 1100? Yeah, but was it 1100 though?
Like,
if it's not 1100, I can't respect it. It's like, dude, it's the best round ever shot ever across all platforms in any course that you've ever played. It's the best.
Because let me talk about a rating that actually makes sense and does matter. The QB rating in football. That stat makes sense. Why? Because hear me out. A quarterback could go out and have a great game and they could lose the game. And so you could look at their QB rating and say, holy cow, this guy had a great game. If you just wanted to look at a stat, Yuli, you could look at their QB rating, one number, and be like, that guy played great, but their team lost, right? In disc golf, we already have that number. The number is what you shot.
Yeah, it's a score.
That's the thing that's mind-blowing is Ezra shot -14. The course record before that was 9 under, I think. We already have the numbers to compare.
Yeah.
Why do we need another number to do the same thing that we're already doing? That it doesn't add anything. That's what I'm saying. And what we want to compare Ezra's round at that course to my local Dash's track round? Why? They're two different courses. It makes no sense. It makes no sense at all. We have a number, what the person shot. That's the number we go off of.
You know what you could do? You could make your rating non-existent for each round to where they just go into you don't see what it's rated. It just goes into the system, and then at the end of the month, you get your rating. And that's your rating. And
sure,
that could fix a lot of things because people would still have a rating. They'd be able to compare each other, their number to everybody else. But then for the rounds, you wouldn't need the rating. It would just be like, yeah, I played bad. How'd you play? I played bad. I shot this score. Oh, how'd you play? I played good. I shot this score. And then at the end of the month, all of a sudden, your new rating comes out, and that's just next to your name. Okay, he's rated, for me, 1028. Okay, Paul's a 1028 rated player. Then we wouldn't have to argue about no 1100s or none of this or none of that, and it wouldn't matter. In fact, you could have the numbers then in there to where after the tournament's done at the end, and you can go back and see, okay, what was the rating? Because then people would be so lazy in tournament coverage and everything, nobody would go back and look and be like, okay, yeah, this is it ended up being 1100. That's kind of cool. You could go back for stats like this and they would actually be cool.
Well, also
because they'd be, it's a past tense. It wouldn't.
But then we'd have
it
to endure. We'd have to endure people guessing what the rating's going to be
for
on
now.
all
But
the time.
eventually it would go away, Gary. Eventually it would go away, and it wouldn't be that important at all. Then maybe the only thing that is important is did they hit 1100? Well, let's wait a month to see. Could be a storyline. I'm just thinking out loud of ways to get rid of like this thing to where Ezra shoots 14 under, best round ever of all time ever. I've been playing a long time. I've seen all the rounds. I didn't get to play in the 90s. I didn't get to see Kenny's 22 under or whatever he shot. But I've seen all the rounds. This is the best one ever. It's the best round ever shot ever.
My last take on ratings.
Do you think it's a good idea though? You didn't say.
I think they should just not be.
No. Okay, so no ratings. You just get the rating at the end of the month. Boom.
It's better probably than what we have right now, but I still think they make no sense because here's the problem with that is the problem with your idea is you might feel like you've gotten better at disc golf and then your rating comes out and it tells you you've gotten worse. And that's why I don't like the ratings is because we all go out there and play and we know whether we played good or bad.
Yeah.
And if you don't, you can compare yourself to the people around you. And so like you might go out and play. And again, on the pro tour, it's a little bit different, right? Maybe at your local tournament, it might be different because you might play terrible and you playing terrible is still way better than everyone else. But on the pro tour, if you go out there and go, man, I think I played pretty good today. And then you're like 7 shots back, you can be like, oh my God, I guess like I could play better. And you can start going back and thinking about all that. The problem with the ratings, Yuli, is I've seen it firsthand from many people and especially from amateurs of where they think they played well and then their rating's not that good. And so they just assume they played bad, or they think they played bad and then their rating's good. And then they're like, oh, all right, I played pretty good. And it's like, that doesn't make any sense to me.
I hate it, dude. A classic story. I was in Nebraska. I played around. I shot the course record. Had the lead by like 5 or it could have been more. So long ago. Had the lead by a lot. Got done. Guy asked me how I played. I said, I played really good. I shot the course record. He said, what was it rated? And I said, it was rated the best anybody's ever shot at the course.
There you go.
It was rated 1012. 1012.
Yeah. But you played well.
Yes. It doesn't. That number doesn't matter. What matters is it was the course record. It was the best anybody's ever played on the course.
Love it.
And we need to get back to that.
Yeah. Let's get back to it.
It's a name thing.
You know what we should get back to too? The MPO recap.
11 minutes.
That's not that bad.
That was almost 10 minutes.
Yuli said 10. Yuli said 10. We did pretty good for ratings. We don't talk about ratings that often. We did pretty good. We already shout out Ezra's crazy second round at the Monster. We got to shout out AB's crazy 4th round at the Beast. I mean, was anyone else thinking that AB was going to pull this thing off after that round?
I thought it could be anybody's ball game. The fact that I was worried because it's so hard to shoot a 15 and then do it again. And I felt like that's what had to happen is a couple of those rounds. But the Beast kind of allows you to do that. And it looked like he was on his way after, a slow start. And then he got like 7 in a row.
Good.
I think it comes down to this, like Gannon is so dang consistent. He's doing it. What worries me for the field is he's doing it like Ken Climo used to do it. Ken Climo didn't go blow you away with crazy rounds. He would shoot crazy rounds if he had to, but he never like blew people away. And I know this because he told me this. He was just consistent all the way across. And he knew that if I just played my game and I'm consistent, I don't make a lot of mistakes, mind you, they had, 9 to 7 rounds, made it a little bit easier, but he would just wear you out with consistency. And I was saying it the whole time on Jomez coverage is I'm like, Gannon's just kind of chilling.
Yeah.
He's just kind of chilling. And over 5 rounds, that's what I like about the 5-round tournament is after 5 rounds, you see who the best player is. And it was clear because he finally out consistent everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And that's scary.
I think that's where I thought with his play this tournament, I thought it's gonna be so hard to beat this guy in a 5-round tournament because like he just didn't play that well. Like when you watched him, and he would probably tell you that too. Like he didn't have a phenomenal round. He didn't have like a really great round either. He just kind of played normal Gannon golf. And that, I mean, that's probably why it was closer than it could have been. You know, he could have shot 50 under. But
Was it
was,
after?
Yeah, go Gary.
Was it after round 3? He was saying that because I asked him, like, being a couple strokes back in the third place, how did he feel? And he's like, I'm right where I want to be. I'm playing consistently, and I know the 2 rounds over at Nokia, he's going to be able to be competitive. So he knows he's playing good disc golf, and he knows that he's just going to be able to be consistent with it, which is, I think, scary for the rest of the field.
But I will say this. I think just so Anthony proved a lot to me too.
Yeah.
Like he's out of it. Like and in the past he's been out of it and then he just kind of stays out of it and he takes like a 7th or an 8th place finish. To shoot that 15 under at the biggest stage ever and to knock himself back into contention is huge, because I know for a fact if Gannon was in his position, he would have done the same thing. And that's a special skill that not a lot of people have. And if AB finally learned that skill just now, then that's scary for the rest of the field moving forward, especially for Gannon, because you're not going to be able to shake a guy like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Gannon was the only person I really felt that Gannon and Ricky, to where if they're, you know, a ways back, you kind of got to look in your rearview mirror and be like, okay, what's that guy doing?
I think Nicklaus is in that conversation too.
Yeah. Yes.
You know, let's not forget hole 18, he makes that putt. You know, now he's forcing Gannon to have to birdie 18 to win.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is not an easy thing to do.
Which he probably does.
He probably does, but you never know what could shake out.
Yeah.
But Nicola, and it was so cool watching that. You know, Goose and Ezra talked a little bit about the crowds for Nicklaus, but that was I love that, man. And this is why I want to have some sort of like Ryder Cup thing, Yuli, because you're seeing a country get behind their player.
Yeah.
Like this is something that could be built out much, much bigger if you start kind of laying the groundwork of a Europe versus America type of thing, of where you start getting these crazy crowds in Europe rooting for them, and then you bring it over to the US, and now you have the US crowds rooting for them. Like a lot of times in disc golf, Yuli, we just see like everyone kind of gets rooted for. Obviously the big players, Paul, Simon, there's a couple of them that have maybe bigger fans, but for the most part, you don't really see like a large group of people cheering for people. And seeing that on coverage of just the crowd starting to build and build and build. I mean, he went what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 birdies in a row in that middle section of where
the pressure that he had,
crazy,
you know, over the last couple years of them knowing it's going to be there and then being like, all right, this is our guy. You know, he has to do something. That's a lot of pressure, and he handled it like
so well.
Oh, so well. And then to put himself in contention, he damn near won the thing.
So
that
close.
Mistake on 15, barely turning it over. I mean, come on, a foot. The script's a lot different if that happens. And then, you know, if that gets in bounds and he makes a putt on 18, we're talking about the best round ever.
Yep.
Better than Ezra's, just because of the moment, the storyline and everything. And
I mean, it would have been 16 under par. The final round at Worlds would have been insane.
16 under par probably wins. In Finland. Like, it would have been the craziest story ever. But yeah, you know, Gannon's your world champ.
Yeah, and Gannon says this before the tournament. He says, if I could take this one down, I actually feel pretty good about getting the next 2 Worlds as well. Question for Gannon. He's in China right now, getting ready for the World Games to play with Missy Gannon. Good luck to them. Like, what tournament is he not feeling good about winning? Right? Like, if you're Gannon, are you showing up to a tournament right now thinking, oh, I don't feel good about this one. I feel like
He's a funny guy because sometimes he does say that. Like remember last year at Worlds, he was like, Isaac's gonna win.
Yeah.
Like he called it.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, well, he was just playing so good in practice and I didn't think I could beat him. It's like, dude, what are you on, bro? Like,
which I guess to his point, if one of these guys would have played a little bit better, right? One round, one of these guys plays a little bit better, he loses. And so I guess there is a little bit of a humble pie there that he has of where he knows there are guys out there that if they play to their highest ability and he doesn't, he can lose to them. Isaac being one of those guys.
Yeah.
AB, Niklas.
Yeah.
These are guys that if they play to the top and he doesn't match them, he can lose to those guys.
for sure.
You know? I do want to go through. I mean, we talked a lot about Goose, obviously, and Ezra. We touched a little bit on Nicholas and what a great tournament he had. He's such a fun guy to watch too. Like his form is just so much different than everyone else's. And just watching him roll that thing over, seeing him throw that beautiful shot on 17 after we just discussed how hard that backhand was.
Yeah.
He's a really, really fun young player that should be around for a very long time. But let's talk a little bit about the champ here. Like where does he go from here? Right? Because now this guy had won majors previously, but it was always, well, he hasn't won a world championship yet. Now he's checked that off the box. I mean, what is the potential if he stays healthy? Because that's obviously the biggest one here. If he stays healthy, what are we looking at here, guys? Like how good of a career could this guy get?
Well, I said this last week on coverage is he's now won a world title before Macbeth won his first world title.
Mm-hmm.
And he's better than Macbeth when he won his first world title.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's a better, more accomplished player than Macbeth is or was when he first won. And we can tell he's head and shoulders better than everybody else. At the time that Macbeth won, we weren't sure. There was Will Schustrick, Ricky. It was a coin flip at a lot of tournaments back then. And it still is in a way because Gannon, he doesn't win every single tournament,
Mm-hmm.
and Macbeth did have a season where he won almost every single tournament. But I think if he keeps going on this trajectory, the field's got to look out because the more confidence he builds, the better this guy's going to get because he has everything. And he's got that. The one thing that he has that nobody else has is that putt, dude.
Yeah.
That putt
Saves
is
him
nasty.
so much, man.
It's nasty because he's not just making it. Like Macbeth and Ricky back in the day, yes, they made long putts. They had the clutch stream. They had all the tools, all those things. But they didn't have this type of range, man.
Mm-mm.
It wasn't this type of range with this type of consistency.
What was it? Was it hole 4 in the final round where he had that putt from the knee?
Yeah, just spit straight out.
It was a terrible spit, but like the putt itself, when that hit dead center basket, I'm like, it's over. I mean, when you're on like that from that distance from a knee, it's just unbelievable. I've never seen anyone putt like that.
And he actually putted pretty poorly from C2 this tournament.
Yeah.
He was only 6 of 25 this tournament. I mean, the thing that we were kind of talking about though is his C1X putting is never going to be that bad. He missed 4 putts inside of the circle.
Yeah, it looks so short.
Yeah.
It looks so short when he's in the circle. It really
does, right? Every putt
mean,
looks like it's just like
13. That putt. I mean, he's at the bottom of the canyon right there, out of position. AB's right there, kind of ready to take a stroke, and then he gets one because he knocks down, the 55-footer.
Mm-hmm.
That was the biggest moment of the tournament, I think.
Big putt.
Yeah,
That was
I think
big putt.
great. And another thing that I noticed about him is he's lucky. Like he gets a lot of good breaks, man.
He would
He
tell you
really does.
This goes back
He really
to
does. And
but
so
this
if you're
goes
the
back
best,
to he
you're the
doesn't
best putter.
throw that many bad shots though, Yuli. That's the thing.
Sure, but when he does, like the shot on 14, listen, that kicked right into the thicket over there.
Oh,
If that gets down to the bottom, there's no getting out.
Yeah, he's most likely trying to make like an 80 or 90 footer for par there, probably.
Right, and no kind of kicks out. I mean, the roller that hits something on 13, a lot of times that doesn't stop and it goes left. And once you're a little bit left, there's no chance for birdie.
I think it's just the sport, though. I think it is when you look at it. Like we're going to talk a little bit about FPO here in a second.
He
Yuli.
doesn't throw a lot of bad shots, I know, but when he does, or when he did, especially the final round, he didn't throw a lot of bad ones.
He got unlucky on 11
and 4.
He got unlucky on 11. So I mean, it's just he doesn't throw a lot of bad shots. So it's hard to say like I'm super unlucky because you don't give yourself enough chances to be unlucky.
No, what I'm saying is this is you might be 100% right. That's all I'm saying is not only does he not throw a lot of bad shots, but it seems that he gets a lot of good breaks. And if that's the case, that taxes the other players big time.
The worst.
You know what
it's the worst.
So when you have all those things going for you, that's what makes a guy great. You know?
Yeah. I mean, let's talk about maybe the luckiest thing that happened for him. And I'm curious of what your guys' take on his decision to try to make that par putt on hole 17. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
Hated it.
I hated it too.
Yeah. So silly.
Because the chances, I give it like maybe 15 to 20% of what happened, hitting that cage and dropping. I give it like 15 to 20% that's what happens. I think it's almost 75 to 80% that it rolls OB if you miss there.
Yeah, I think Nate Sexton made a great point. His high spin rate on his putt kind of gives him the opportunity to hit the cage and not really go out of bounds because it's still spinning. Yeah. There's no wobble after it hits. And so it kind of landed flat there.
I was so scared though. I was like, oh my God.
Same. I thought any miss, like if he makes a better run than he made, there's a better opportunity that
like skips off the top a little bit.
Just a really bad decision. But when you're that good at putting, like it's kind of hard to like tame that down. You know what I mean?
I guess. I mean, again, it's like
I was worried about 18. I thought for sure he was going to put it in position and then go. Because I didn't think he would ever practice the layup, and I guarantee he didn't practice the layup. So then you're sitting there, and it's kind of like tricky. It's tricky.
You know why it's tricky?
Because it's for a world title.
It's perpendicular.
Perpendicular
fairways. Perpendicular fairways. Got that L
shape. But the one thing that's going against him, and I truly believe this, is he's going against what I think has the guy who has the highest ceiling that we've ever seen, and that's AB. Like the guy is a freak of nature. You know what I mean? Yeah, like he's a freak of nature. Like if he could somehow become as consistent as Gannon, then they're I feel like they're equals. I'm not saying that he's gonna, surpass Gannon or whatever, but then I think they exchange titles a bunch.
The power that AB has, and we saw it a bunch on both courses with his forehand and his backhand, he has such an advantage over everyone in the field with that power. But yes, it's 100% comes down to, can he consistently do it? Over 4? You can't just have one great round and win a major. We saw it from Ezra. He almost did it, right? He was close, but when you have 4 rounds, and especially at Worlds 5 rounds, you got to be able to do it every single time. And we just saw, he has had, I'm not really counting the final round because I think once he kind of fell out of it right at the end, it was a different AB, but you can't.
He's the closest guy down the stretch. What I felt like until Niklas did what he did, but he's on the second card. You don't know what it is. And he still gave Gannon the opportunity to kind of beat him. But
yeah,
AB missed that putt after Gannon made it, and it was over at that point.
Yeah,
it was over.
AB shot 1 under in round 3. 1 under.
Hole 15 in round 5 was odd to me because like he obviously threw out of bounds off the tee, but it felt like he sat down, hands in his head, so upset about that moment, and I wonder if that affected his ability to walk up and finish the hole. And then the very next hole he gets the triple bogey.
Well, he
So, like-
lost. I don't think he cares at that point at all.
Yeah, but he wasn't. I mean, you take that like turn 16, 17, 18 into birdies, and he gets to 42 under. Like he could still be competitive down the stretch.
True.
Like I almost felt like he turned it off just too early.
I would have too. That was the moment right there. You're on the card with them. You had just you had just missed. It's 3 holes in a row. It's not just that hole. He missed the putt on 13. He missed the drive on 14 and the putt, and then he throws it out of bounds on 15. It's game over.
Yeah. All right. So going down the leaderboard a little bit, obviously Sully with the top 5, tying AB as well. Adam with the top 10 finish, and this is where it's like, after AB, these guys were never in contention, right? This was a 6-person race.
Yeah.
Everyone else, Paul, great final round, shooting 12 under, 12 birdies, no pars, or all pars. Great final round, getting himself into 8th place, moving up 18 spots. But again, just not in contention at all. I do have to shout out, I think it's Pyrie. Is that how you say it? Pyrie?
Yeah. Maybe.
I mean, this is someone comes out, guns blazing, shoots 11 under par, lead card. Not someone that any of us know his name before this tournament. Someone says it's Puri. Puri? Sounds right? Puri? Okay. And someone that I think we're all assuming, he just had his best round ever of his life. He's going to fall off. No, he hung on. 8th place. Very well. Very well done. A name that we didn't talk about at all. And this is where it's like, I think it sucks a little bit, Yuli and Gary, with disc golf and just the coverage that we have. We don't really get stories outside of the guys that are in contention. And I think at like a world championship, I think there should be stories told. Maybe not obviously down the stretch where it's like the last 5 holes. Yeah, I don't really give a rip about someone that's on lead card that's 10 shots out. But like Andrew Marweed, he got 10th place.
Yeah.
Did anyone hear anything about Marweed all week?
No. Not the slightest bit.
Right? That's a great finish, a top 10 there. And I think it's just like coverage. I don't know what to do. I don't know what they can do to make that better. But like that's a great world championship. Marweed getting 10th. That's a great finish.
I know what they could do. When they have these storm stoppages, they could, instead of putting up a screen for hours on end, it's a great time to come on and talk about players who aren't in positions that you would expect them to be in and have some kind of conversation or dialogue. I mean, the drop off in viewership of like, hey, we're disappearing for 45 minutes, catch you later, and you're gonna have the same song on repeat over and over again. That's a great place to be able to do stuff like that.
A little bit of disappointing finish for Calvin here, I think. Winning his first major, I think he had a lot of confidence going into this. Just never was in contention either. 10th place for him. Isaac Robinson, the back-to-back champ. Pretty good finish here. 12th place for back-to-back. A lot of pressure probably coming into this one. Not too shabby. Another good finish from someone that we haven't really seen that much this year, Chris Dickerson. 14th place.
Yeah,
someone's been struggling a little bit this year. Corey Ellis, another good finish for him. 14th place. Always does well at the Beast. European Open champion. Any surprising people that either surprising finishes for you guys this week, or maybe some surprisingly in a good way or in a bad way?
I was surprised. I thought Simon was going to make a little bid at this one.
Yeah.
I think he's kind of like the one. I think he's the one guy who is most deserving of a major title who doesn't have one.
Okay.
It's got to be Simon, and I don't think at this point it's anybody close to him. It's like him or maybe like a Matteo or something, but Simon even higher because Simon's won a ton.
I was hoping for more out of Eagle this weekend.
I think Eagle and Ricky are the two that I was expecting more from.
Yeah, I mean, Eagle, Ricky, Macbeth. Yeah. Those are always nice to have. And I heard Ricky had a flare up.
I was seeing that he was having some bandages on, some wrapping around his knee. And then the other people too is maybe some of the Europeans. I thought, like a Vino could have made maybe a little bit of run, a Yessie.
Yeah, yes, it was. And Yuna, I thought for sure would be a little bit higher up.
Yeah, Lori Lettinen, Mari was another big name coming into this one. He ends up finishing. Oh no, I have to scroll down far. Wait, maybe I missed him already. No shot, right? Did I miss him? Wait, did he? Where the heck did Mari finish? I had to have missed him, right?
22nd. Is that right?
Did I miss him? I had to have missed him. Lori Lettinen finished in 20th.
Okay.
Mari, yeah, 27th place there. So yeah, I mean, I think some of the European players coming in, and I think that just goes to show too, like how impressive that was with Nicholas, because I'm sure there was probably a little bit added pressure. Excuse me.
Bless you.
I have a lot to discuss about FPO, but Yuli, before we let you go, because I know you just got back with the family, you got any closing thoughts for Worlds for you before me and Gary jump into the FPO?
Yeah, unfortunately, I do have to go. I got lucky enough to have the whole day with my daughter, which was amazing.
It's great.
But my schedule is on that same schedule as Goose and Ezra, unfortunately, right now.
Yep.
So it's late to me, and I gotta get to bed. But no, I thought what Own did is gonna go down as one of the most incredible things that
Crazy.
has ever happened in our sport, and she deserves all the flowers. A crazy way it went down, and you guys are gonna get into that for sure.
Yep.
But to hold the Masters world title and the FPO world title is incredible, and I don't know. I don't think that'll ever be done again.
Yeah, it doesn't look it doesn't look too good for the people out there saying that you can't play well later in your life.
No, it doesn't. Yeah, and that's actually a really good point, because she inspired a lot of people, and people breaking through barriers like that and proving that it can be done is big for the sport and big for the whole entire Masters division. So if you're out there and you think you're getting old, you're not. You just got to believe and give yourself a chance, put yourself in contention. She did that, and she pulled through
and be
pretty
one of the
incredible.
best putters in the world.
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go practice that putt,
Yeah,
baby.
anyone can just go practice. All right, Yuli, appreciate you, brother.
Thank you, guys.
King of the Hill next week.
Can't wait.
Get ready for it, folks.
Hey, I'll be in Illinois. I can bring a chart. We can do it in person.
Yeah, I have to do it in
pictures.
person. I gotta figure out how to get this multiple microphone set up. All right, Yuli, appreciate you, brother.
See you guys.
I'll see you up at Ledgestone. All right, Gary, let's just first talk about this, though.
Yeah.
The finishing four at the Beast, man. Guys, the reason why both these tournaments weren't boring at the end was because of the holes that were designed in a way that made players have to make decisions, made players have to throw tough shots, made players have to make tough putts. It's not a surprise. I mean, these four finishing holes, 15, 16, 17, 18, they are great finishing holes. And boy, did they add the drama to the FPO World Championship. All right, I'm going to go through. Basically, I've got a couple things to say at the top, and then we're going to go through starting on these final four holes. We're going to break it all down and tell you guys the craziness stuff that went down that I was watching at 3:00 in the morning over here. Gary, if at any point in time I say anything that you want to jump in and make a point, cut me off. There might be some stuff that I'll say and I'll maybe want to talk a little bit more on it. But the first thing I got to say, guys, before we go in it, I believe we now realize why the majority of disc golf courses out there, hole 18 is a par 3. I hate it. I've said it before. I hate that hole 18 is a par 3. But I think the reason why a lot of times hole 18 is a par 3 It's because it's too difficult to keep track of everyone's score. We'll get into that in a little bit. Shot of the day, Gary. For me, Owen Scoggins, third shot from behind the trees on hole 13 to save par.
Yeah.
That shot wasn't super challenging in the sense of like being able to just get something out into play. But the fact that she put that under the basket, I think that put a lot of pressure and really just kept her alive, because I think taking a bogey there really puts a lot of pressure on her, because, I mean, she had to shoot 3 under through the last 4 to tie. I think that would have been too much for her going into those last couple holes. I think that hole right there saved her. That shot right there, I think, saved her. Impressive stuff. And it was the perfect shape for her, like super flex, overstable forehand. It was absolute perfect. Beautiful. All right. Hannah, Ella, and I got to make sure I say her name correctly, because Ida. Apologies. I won't make that mistake again. Ida. Hannah, Ella, and Ida. This sounds like almost like a nursery book. All three of them struggled with the course management at some point during those last 4 holes. And we're going to break down each time. Here we go. Hannah on hole 15 has a 2-stroke lead on Ella. Okay. Who has to play 3 holes left. At this point in time, Ella is playing out of her mind. I mean, some of the best disc golf we've seen in the FPO side all year. She is currently, I believe, 12 under par after eagling hole 15. She has just eagled hole 15. And she's walking over to hole 16 as lead card is getting up to hole 15. So Ella is playing out of her mind, right? But she has tough 16, tough 17, tough 18 left. Hannah's got a 3-stroke lead over her. Okay. She has a 3-stroke lead over, one more time, Gary.
Ida.
And a 4-stroke lead over Own. Okay. So if I'm Hannah, I'm thinking, guys, there's 4 holes left. If I par all 4 holes, the only way I can lose is if Ella birdies the last 3, or if Ida birdies the last 4, or last 4 as well. Yeah. Right? That's the only way I lose. I don't know why she goes for it there, Gary.
It's silly.
The going for it on hole 15 from Hannah, that was the first moment that I was like, that doesn't make any sense, because if you lay up and then chip over, make birdie, and heck, maybe she misses the putt, whatever. Like, there's just way less bad stuff that could happen there, Gary. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, you have to wonder how much of it is like, if you look back at her previous rounds. I mean, she had success one round and not success the other round. I don't know, what is she looking at scores? Is she seeing Ella pushing? Is she just making poor decisions? I don't know. I wonder sometimes if it's just I get used to throwing this shot.
Yeah,
that's all I practice. I don't practice anything else. And so I have to throw this shot regardless of the situation. And we kind of see her do that later. But I think I have been saying this for a while now. And that's, I want to know, I would love to see some more FPO practice rounds. I'd love to know how they approach some of this stuff. Because when you watch guys like Ezra and Goose and all that, they practice the good spots, the bad spots. They kind of practice a little bit of everywhere in preparation for all the different outcomes or scenarios, or if they have to play short, if they have to play long, whatever. What kind of preparation is going into these types of moments, down the stretch? Everybody who knows course management or understands this course knows that these last 4 holes are crucial to have success at the beast. Like, why are we not spending more time practicing the different kind of shots?
Yeah, if you birdie that hole, then you can literally play for par on 16, 17, 18 and win a world championship.
Yep.
Eagling that hole just basically gives you some extra strokes. And this is where I wonder, Gary, is the putting. is the putting so much in her head that she is thinking like, I need to try to gain as much strokes as I possibly can throwing, because I just don't like, I'm not sure if I can make a 10-footer, right? Is that something that's so locked in? But it's like, that's where you need a caddy. That's where you need someone to tell you, gang, Hannah, you're so good at throwing. We don't need you to throw this incredible shot right now. Just give me 2 decent shots. You'll get under the basket. You can dunk it in for birdie, and we go and win a world championship, right? Like, that's what needs to be said there, and not let me try to win the tournament on hole 15.
Yeah.
So that was the first moment. Now, Own gets extremely lucky. Own gets an extremely lucky kick. She plays the layup game, and her approach into the basket was not a good approach shot. Gets extremely lucky to kick out of the trees and ends up canning that putt, right? Ida also makes the putt as well. So now, after the 2 birdies, we have Own and Ida and Henna all have, or Henna has a 2-stroke lead over Own and Ida going into 16, right? Own is 3 back. Sorry, it gets a little confusing. Own is 3 back. Ida is 2 back from Henna going into hole 16, okay? Ella goes for eagle on hole 16 here. Okay, that was the next kind of big moment of like, should she have gone for eagle or not? She's in the absolute perfect spot on hole 16. Okay, the absolute go zone. I actually think going for it there was actually the correct play. That time I don't look at and say like, I don't like her going for it there. I think she's in the perfect spot. I think laying up gets you a little bit closer, obviously, but I don't hate the going for it mentality. However, the only thing I got to think of is I think you got to start thinking of who's behind you. That's the only thing. And I think on hole 16, Gary, Ella should have started looking at who's behind her and what they have to do, right? She's got a couple shots leads on Own. She knows that obviously Own can birdie 16 and 18, but Own cannot eagle either one of those holes. Hole 17 is going to be a tough birdie for Own. It's like a full power forehand for her to get down there, right? I just think if you're Ella in that situation, I think you could have played the layup game, but I don't hate the aggressive play either, right? You don't really know what's going on behind you. That one I can let slide. I think that was, again, she was in the perfect play. Now, did she get the craziest, luckiest skip ever on her second shot? That was insane. And the fact that I think a lot of people didn't even realize that if your disc lands on top of the hay bale there, Gary, you're OB. So not only did she get a crazy skip up onto the hay bale, the spin on the disc was enough to somehow throw her in. Jeez. So, I mean, that would have been night for a tournament if she doesn't get over there. So she's able to get on. Lucky bounce over the hay bale. Okay. Henna goes OB on the tee shot. Not good, but it's not like she could have really changed that much. She just threw a bad shot, right? Like I don't think decision wise, like there was anything to change there. She just throws a bad shot.
Yeah, the angle on her disc was poor. I went back to look to see every round because once again, same disc, same line every round, and this one came out with a discernible amount of more hyzer angle than the previous 2 had.
All right, so she's now sitting at the corner, Gary. She's got 320 feet about into the basket. This is where you got to start, just how I was just saying to Ella, how you start having to start thinking about who's behind you, what's happening. I think you got to start playing the people around you and not playing the hole. I think this is where course management, a lot of times in disc golf, people aren't looking at the scores. They're not doing all this stuff. And a lot of times it doesn't really matter because it is a birdie or die course. So you just got to go for broke. But this is where I think you can start playing the people around you and force them to have to come beat you versus you just handing it over. So she goes for the the shot, which, like you said, that was her play all tournament. I'm just going for eagle. In this case, she's no longer going for eagle. She's now going for birdie after throwing her first shot OB. She ends up going long, has a weird conversation with her caddy, and I think calls for a provisional, which is very strange because it's like there's a spotter up there that's like your OB. So she goes long, and then seems like this was how she was going to play the hole no matter what, right? Like it seems like this was her. No matter I'm winning by 5 or it's even, I'm playing this hole this way no matter what. Where to me, you go OB there, you're in a spot to where you're like, okay, if I go for this, I have to continue to go for it. I really have no choice, right? And then you could get in a really, really weird spot. Like just chip, par, move on. Or would it be 3? Yeah. 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Par and move on.
Yep.
And you're still fine. You still got a lead on everyone. They still have to come and get you.
Yeah, you still have a 1 stroke on Ida, 2 strokes on Own, and even if Ella, because I'm wondering also at the same time they were taking those tee shots, Ella did put it within, I want to say 20 feet on 17.
Yep.
So maybe she looked at this, maybe she was watching live score too hard and saw that Ella was at 17 feet or whatnot and was like, she's going to get a birdie here, so I got to go for it. But even then, you do the math.
Yes.
And still coming out of 16 at 11 under par is still better than the risk you take, because I feel like you're saying even if all else fails, you take a par on it, you can still live to fight for 2 more holes. Whereas if you go OB
and you can eagle
OB,
18.
Yep. And if you keep going OB, you're done. Like, so you can either end it now with a low percentage shot, because even when she was in an ideal position in rounds 1 and 4, she barely crested the hay bales.
It's a tough shot.
So to go back another 25 feet on top of that, just it was so low percentage.
Yep. So Ella, like you said, throws a great forehand on hole 17 and then drains that 25-footer. Big putt for Ella. I mean, Ella was playing out of her mind.
Yeah.
Phenomenal disc golf for Ella here. So now Ella at this point is now tied at 10 under with Henna, Ida, and Own is 1 back. So you got 3 tied at 10. Own is 1 back. Ella's going to 18. And everyone else is going to 17, right? Ella throws a perfect tee shot. Again, in an absolute perfect go position for the green. Proceeds to go for eagle on 18. Lead card at this point has not teed off on 17. So there's no way that she can see that Owns out of bounds. There's no way that she can see that Henna's not in circle 1, right? There's no way for her to see any of this stuff. So she's just, again, if she's checking at scores, she's just seeing that, hey, I'm tied with these people. They have 2 holes to go. I have 1 hole. I don't hate the play. Again, it's another one of those things that from like 16, I don't hate the play from Ella to go for it here. I hate the miss, right? Yeah. The miss has to be into the trees. The miss has to be long. The miss has to be left long. It cannot be short left. It cannot be right. Right is the worst miss ever. And she ends up doing the worst miss ever. Never crosses in bounds. Throws a great shot up there, which hats off to her to like stay composed. Throws a great shot up there and ends up having a putt that if she would have made, would have put her into a playoff. Unfortunately, just slips up, misses it, out of the playoff, right?
Yeah.
But this is where if I'm Ella here, right? And this is a little bit of Monday morning quarterback armchair, couch coaching, whatever it is. This is where I'm 100% looking at the competition.
Yeah.
Right? I'm 100% looking at who's behind me. And I'm thinking to myself, if I just birdie this hole, if I just chip over, chip up, and birdie it, I finish at 11 under par. The only way I lose is if Ida birdies 17 or 18, right? Or if Own birdies both those holes. Or if Henna birdies 18, and 17.
Yeah.
Or par. No, par 17, birdie's 18.
Yeah.
Right? I guess that would have forced the playoff. And
Yeah.
Hina can't putt right now, right? Like Hina's just not making any putts. So it's like in my head, you almost have to mark Hina off as like she's not beating me.
Yeah.
Own, I gotta mark her off because it's gonna be tough for her to get there. I just don't know. I think that again, it's like play the numbers. A lot of times, Ida's 15 years old, Gary.
Yep.
Like, are we assuming a 15-year-old is all of a sudden just gonna freaking and here's the thing with Ella. I will say this. If you lay up there and you end up getting beaten, you can't sleep. Right?
No.
So like I will say that about her decision making on 18 is she's going for the win. She's thinking to herself, if I park this thing and I get to 12 under par, I think I win this thing. And she does. She wins the thing, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. What are your thoughts on her on 18 there?
I think one of the hardest things to do is when your foot is on the gas and things are generally going well in your way, it's very hard to take your foot off the gas at the right moment. And I almost, even though technically it would have been the smarter play, I feel like I'd rather see her try to go for the win than to play the chess at the end, because I think Ida going 1 under on the last 2 holes, it was actually relatively probable.
I agree.
More so than some of the other outcomes, but own with the distance, you just don't know. I would rather take it in my own hands and lose it than try to play chess and let somebody take it from me because I play too safe. So I think maybe that's just something that, Ella's not used to, or just in general, players aren't used to doing, which is, going at 100 miles an hour and then slowing themselves down fast enough, which is why I like the last 4 holes on this course, because it's like, I call it the speed bump before you come to rest at the end, because the whole course is this downhill track of go, 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 go. And you get to the very last 4 holes and you have to check yourself, because if you're going too fast, you're going to crash. But if you're going too slow, you're not going to get the momentum you need to finish the round.
And this is where I say, imagine if we had a course that had every hole like that.
It'd be crazy.
Oof. So yeah, again, at the end of the day, if you're playing the odds, Gary, if you're playing the numbers and just looking at FPO, you got to assume someone's going to fall. And so you force people to have to catch you.
Yeah.
But as a competitor that Ella is, that's probably so hard to do, to be like, you know what, I'm going to play this safe. If they beat me, they beat me. It's just, if it ends up going that way, it's so hard to sleep. So Ida and Ohm both go OB on OB left on 17, which is, they both show you the ways that you can go OB on that hole. Throwing a backhand with Ida too high. Ohm throws a forehand, gets the roll, which is one of the reasons why I think I love this hole, is because, like we were talking earlier, you have to make a decision of, do you want to roll the dice or do you want to throw the harder shot?
Mm-hmm.
Hina ends up throwing a safe shot. I don't know if she was going for a safe shot. I couldn't tell, like, if she threw it poorly, like turned it over too much.
She turned it over. Once again, same thing. Same exact disc she threw in the previous rounds. Both rounds came out with a tad bit of hyzer that's set up to flat. This one, there was a right to left wind. So maybe she just didn't get her angle correctly and she overcorrected because she put too much hyzer on hole 16's tee shot and just turned the mid right over.
Now she lays up to about 12 feet. And this is where the majority of fans would just start walking to hole 18.
Yeah.
Right? A 12-footer leader at the World Championship is not missing a 12-footer. And she airballs it, Gary. She airballs it. And the fans that were staying there, everyone's in shock.
She was in shock.
Everyone was like, what the heck I couldn't believe it just happened. Even though I've seen her do it a bunch of times, I still could not believe that happened at that moment. So now all of a sudden, a lot of things have changed. She now is no longer in the lead. She's sitting at 9 under par. You now have Ida that has a one-shot lead going into 18 over Own, Henna, and Ella, who's already in the clubhouse, right? Ida shanks her tee shot, which again kind of boils back to my point with Ella of like, if you want to play the odds, the 15-year-old probably is going to have a tight shot on the final hole of a world championship, right? If she didn't, we would be like shocked as what the heck was going on. So she shakes the shot into the worst pace possible into the trees to the right. Henna and Ohm both put their shots in great position. Ida then shanks her second shot, Gary, and like slams it into a tree. And I'm like, oh my gosh, she's crumbling. She's crumbling. Yep. Super lucky not to go OB there. And then lands in bounds. This is where I have to say, if you have a forehand, Gary, the forehand there is so much easier than a turnover backhand.
Yeah.
And this is where you kind of see certain shots like this. You know, she got lucky here, but over the course of time, sometimes you're not going to get lucky. Better off to have a forehand. So now Own and Ida both have great layup shots to the perpendicular fairway. We love the L-shaped fairways. So now they're both sitting there. Henna has a chance to win this tournament right now, right? She parks her next shot. And this is where it doesn't make any sense to me, Gary. Okay? You go for it on 15. You go for it on 16. And then 18, you decide to lay up. That's where I don't understand. Like, you should have laid up. Like, I don't understand how you go for it on 15 and 16, and then you get to 18. The disc is in your hand. You have a chance to park the hole, and you lay up. I was dumbfounded by it.
Yeah, I don't understand it at all.
I was dumbfounded by it. And it turns out her layup, not great. Not great at all. Absolutely the worst one. Fluffs it out of bounds. Tournament over. So now it's between Ella, Ida, and Own. Own throws a great shot under the basket. Ida throws an up shot that was super nervy. I mean, she's had, I mean, all her shots this final hole, Gary, has been super nervy. Shank into the tree, shank into the tree. Her third shot, if you remember, kind of like flipped up over out of bounds and then slowly faded back inbounds. Like, that was nervy. Great shot though. Like, it has the crowd shooting back down at her, and the whole Finnish spectators are just going nuts when it lands in bounds. I think one of the best shots of the tournament right there from the cameras. Well done by them. But she kind of fluffs her up shot. Like, barely clears the OB, Gary. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh. And then her putt, high right, barely catches. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, Ida is like not, but she's 15, Gary. What are we expecting, right?
World stage, 15 years old, all those spectators
rooting for you.
Yeah.
And again, it's not this is where I think, like, in other sports, having like a home crowd gets you juiced up, jacked up, makes you run faster, jump higher, push harder. And in disc golf, it's like, you got to, like, it's different. It's a different kind of vibe. Okay. So at this point in time, Ella gets eliminated. Henna gets eliminated. We have an Own Ida playoff, which I think was the first time FPO's ever had a playoff at Worlds. It's kind of crazy. I think they threw that stat up. Cool. Everyone was watching this, Gary. Everyone was watching this playoff. You have, I think the youngest player in the field, and I think one of the oldest players, if not the oldest player in the field, in a playoff for a world championship. Absolutely insane cinema going on here.
It was so electric that Ricky misses tee time.
Yeah. Ricky was watching the playoff like all of us.
Yeah.
It's a two-stroke penalty, which I think is hilarious. Shout out to Ricky. Okay, so playoff starts. Ohm goes OB, and walking down the fairway after that OB shot, Gary, Ida's in perfect position. She looks like she just handed the tournament to Ida. Like, I get it. Own is probably the most positive person on tour. Talks to everyone, constantly smiling, constantly talking. But in the interview after she wins, she talks about how she didn't believe she could win this tournament. She was coming into this tournament with no belief that she could win. She was coming into the tournament thinking that she could maybe get a top 15. And I got that vibe from her. She was talking to Ida and smiling, going down the fairway. I couldn't make out what they were saying. But after she threw her shot OB there, Gary, it seemed like she was kind of like, well, all right, well, you
There it
won, little
goes.
congratulations, right? That's the vibe I was getting from her. She then throws a super, super tough upshot for her, like full power flex, lands it in there. Very sketchy, stays in bounds. And then Ida, so now we're both in like the layup. You know, they both have made it into the layup zone, right? Owen throws her shot up there. For a second, it looks like it's kind of going to go out of bounds, stays in bounds about 15 feet away from the basket, maybe 13 feet once she takes the meter in offline, right?
Yep.
Ida now does the cardinal sin, does the one thing you cannot do. And this is, again, I don't know if the caddy is telling her this. I don't know if she's thinking about this. The thing you got to be throwing in your head here is you cannot be short.
Yeah.
If I'm missing into the trees, right? And she does exactly what she did the previous shot right there. Fluffs it, never crosses in bounds. Everyone's like shocked. Everyone's going nuts and being like, what the heck just happened? Never crosses in bounds. I believe also she was about 120 feet away. That's, I think, judging by the yellow stakes, I want to say that shot was about 120 feet that she wasn't able to throw in bounds.
It's similar, not completely similar in distance, but not that far away from the issue she had on 16 the previous round. Those like short, you know, where it almost feels like she's trying to throw directly at whatever she wants, as opposed to playing the larger part of the landing space.
Throw through it into the trees.
Yep.
So now this is the craziest part of the entire tournament. We see discussion between her and her father, who is caddying for her. They are probably sitting at, what would you call that distance? 50 feet?
50 feet, probably.
50, 45 feet, something like that.
Yeah.
And Juliana Korver, who was doing commentating, she even gets on commentary before the layup, obviously, and says, exact quote, "Of course, you have to assume that Owen is going to make her putt. So if Ida can get up and down from here, then that pushes for one more try."
Yep.
I don't know what was going on with the water over there, Gary. How are people, and this is where it baffles me. And again, I don't care. I don't care if you're 15 years old, you're 20 years old, you're 50 years old. I don't care how old you are, really. The thing is like you got to know what the scores are.
Yeah.
You're playing match play, Gary.
Yep.
You got to know what everyone's throwing. And so she ends up laying up this putt. Everyone is shocked. Like, what did I just watch? I was shocked. I was like, you think Owen's going to miss a 13-footer? He's like one of the best putters in the world.
Yeah.
Makes the putt. Now, let's talk a little bit about the putt because we get a little bit more context here. So we have her in an interview afterwards saying, hold on. Yeah, here it is. It says, "My putt didn't go well today, and I didn't really trust myself at that point. So I decided to putt under." Basically claiming, so in this interview, what it sounds like is she's claiming that she knew that she had to make that putt to force Owen to make her putt to tie. And she made the decision to lay it up, which this is where it's just like, I don't think this is like a good look. Like, I think no one's believing that is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. I mean, even though her putt, what was she 0 for 7 from circle 2 for the round so far? So her circle 2.
She was 10 of 13 from C1X and 0 for 6 previously to that putt from circle 2.
Yeah. So, you know, to me, this is I don't care how bad the putt's been going for the day. I don't care, whatever it may be. you've got to look at the fact that Owen barely missed a single putt all round and how
Yeah.
close she is. You have to go for it. You have to go for it. I mean, regardless of whatever you think or want, you've got to have faith in yourself and your skill, and you've got to put it out there.
Now there was some rumors spreading around that like maybe like the PDGA leaderboard, someone was out there that was saying that Owen was putting for a different score. I believe putting for bogey instead of putting for par. I don't know if that ever really rang true, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, they can still
You-
count.
You go like this: in 1, out in 2, up in 3, up in 4. She's putting for 5. Literally, that's what you do. And you say, I'm putting for 5 as well. And you just do the math, Gary. Again, it's a math equation.
And you have a caddy who could also do the math. So it's like you got two people who were unaware. And yeah, I don't know. And
And
the
it's
fact that she was shocked after she looked surprised after she had laid up and Owen putted in and all the applause happened.
Yes. Like people were confused as what was going on. So the first thing is like, I think it's a better look here to just come out and just simply say, we messed up. It sucks. You know, a lot of pressure. We messed up. The score was incorrect. I thought, whatever. I don't really know because no one's buying that. She then made a post on Instagram, and I like it. Hey, this is what we need. We need people to talk about their stuff. So I appreciate this versus just hiding and not saying anything at all. So she goes to Instagram. She says, "First Worlds I've ever played. Say what you want, but I played 5 rounds of the best disc golf I've ever been able to. Under all the pressure, I completely surpassed myself. As 15 years old, I played in front of thousands of people. So I don't care about you saying what I should have done differently. I'm so proud of myself and so grateful. The opportunity to even play in the first World Championship outside the United States is a great honor. I know I made history. 5 rounds of super high level disc golf with a rating average. Again, people just love talking about the rating. No one cares about your rating. Gave myself the opportunity to fight for the world championship. Finished second. Got 3rd place finishes and 2 4th place finishes for the season. Getting hungry. Biggest thanks to my supporter. Congrats to Owen. Thanks to all my sponsors. Yada, yada, yada. Okay. So first thing I'll say here. Both things can be true here, Gary.
Mm-hmm.
You played incredible, like one of the best world's performances I've ever seen from pretty much anyone. But then you also made a huge mistake. Like both those things are true. And I think it's okay that they are both true.
Yeah, it's okay that we talk about them. Like if this happened on any other sport, any other larger stage, and we'll talk about something similar with like Kristen later maybe, but it's perfectly fine for us to talk about the decision that was made, why it was made, and to agree or disagree about it. There's no like when we say she should have putted, she should have ran that putt. That's not us saying, hey, her entire performance this weekend was terrible. She played out of her mind. She did incredibly for someone her age and the stress level of around all those people.
And
but
crazy.
yeah, it can also be a poor decision at the end of the round at the same time.
Yep. And I think too, that's where there's a lot of growing pains with the disc golfers because it is this like community, right? It's a lot more of a community thing. I'm sure she's probably grown up in a community that's tight knit, that they're all playing. Everything's positive, positive, positive. And like, that's just not how professional sports are. Like when you do something bad or you make a mistake, people are going to criticize it. People are going to talk about it. And they're going to talk about the good too. You have to take both. And so that's where, both things, that's what I'll just say. Both things are true. You played great. You made history. All this stuff that you said is true. You also made one of the biggest mistakes that we've seen in a world championship. Right?
Yeah.
So there you have it. We actually have a little bit more I want to talk about, Ida, for a second.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find where I put in my notes. I wrote it somewhere. Where did I put this thing? man, I've the show notes for this episode is so long. All right. It's about hole 16. Let me just see if I can find it. If not,
with her not stepping off.
yeah, I don't see it. So, oh wait, no, I do right here. Okay, here we go. All right, we got to talk about hole 16. She took a 13, Gary, 8 over par during round 4.
Yeah.
She went from having a 12-stroke lead with just over 18 holes to play, about 20 holes to play to be exact. 12-stroke lead. That basically means that she almost has she could lose a stroke on every other hole and still win the world championship, right? With a 12-stroke lead, 20 holes to play, you can lose a stroke on every other hole and still win the championship. She walks away after a 12-stroke lead, only leading by 1 after hole 16. She takes an 8 over par, throws 5 OB shots, including her drive. Couldn't get on the island from 164 feet. This is where she lost the tournament.
Yeah.
Right? Because when I turned it on, I think I caught it right around like hole 8 or 9 for my time. And I was just like, oh my God, who is this person? What is going on? I was on a cruise, guys, so I wasn't able to watch the beginning couple rounds. I was like, what is going on? I was like, who's this person that's about to win double digits? What the heck? I thought the tournament was over. Right? You got to get on the island, Gary.
Yep.
I mean, this is another one of those things where it's like, I don't know what the conversations with the caddy and her are, but there
wasn't really any.
Stop trying to throw like the perfect shot, right? Just like just get anything on the grass. Like we shouldn't be aiming for the basket. Like we should be trying. What I mean by that is she was continually trying to throw shots that were going to land by the basket, right? And so if you pull it a little bit, you're OB right. Where if you actually throw at the basket, not try to land at the basket, but you throw at the basket to land 5-10 feet left of the basket, there's so much more room left. And if you do pull it, you're probably going to park it, right? Watching that and just seeing her not like walk away. And again, she's 15 years old. I get it, guys. But if she would have went out and won the world championship by 10, we would all be thinking like, this is the greatest disc golfer ever. We're going to see her dominate, right? So it comes with the territory. I just think that this is where she lost the tournament. Like you got to make like an 8 or a 9, just like make something.
Yeah. I mean, just the fact that it was on even on post produced, they didn't even cut. It was a one continuous camera shot. Tells you how fast that happened. And every time she missed one, Dad would walk up, turn around, let her pick a disc out of her bag, and then he would walk away. And we just kept repeating that over and over and over again. And you just gotta, there's so much space to the left of the basket.
You gotta just get it on there. Now, I will say I'm rooting for her because I do like she's got a lot of facial expressions.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, we got the great one on hole 14. She's fun to watch. She's got good, like her form is pleasant. She's got a great putt.
Mm-hmm.
I hope this is just like the beginning for her. I hope it's not like we don't really see much from her again, because I think she is a really, really fun player to watch and has obviously all the potential in the world. And a great like she said, she made history. No one expected a 15-year-old to be in a playoff at the World Championship this year. So shout out to her. Great performance overall. And just know it comes with the territory. If you're going to be a professional athlete, you're going to have really nice things said about you that are true. You're going to have really nice things that are said about you that aren't true.
Yep.
And vice versa.
Happens the crown.
Happens on the bottom side too. All right. Let's go to Henna petting. I think that was another big storyline here. Henna's putt. Gary, did you look up how many putts she missed inside of Circle 1X for the tournament?
No, I didn't. Because I didn't want to do that to myself.
Everyone guess right now, if you're watching live, guess how many putts inside a circle Circle 1X. Hannah missed. Let's see if anyone can get it. And Gary, you can give me your guess too if you want.
Gosh. I don't know. Across 5 rounds. I'm guessing she probably missed at least 6, 7-ish rounds. I'm going to go 35.
A little bit better than that. 27 missed putts.
Okay. Wow.
Inside of C1X. Circle 2, she was 0 for 20.
Not surprising.
She's playing a different game, Gary. She's playing. This is a different game than everyone else is playing.
Yeah.
I mean, Evelina's kind of playing the same game, but I mean, this is a different game, right? Like the fact that she can somehow be competitive putting this poorly is insane. It just shows how good she is off the tee.
Yeah.
But it's like, if you're that good off the tee, how are you this bad? Like, just throw the putt. Like, you probably have a better chance of just throwing the putt in than actually putting.
Yeah, do like the Kona putt, the toss
Something.
putt. Yeah, it's sad for me because I really had a lot of hopes going into this Worlds with the way that like Holland and Evelina, Kristen and Missy, how all these players have been playing, that we were going to be getting to see some really solid putting and all that kind of stuff, and we didn't get that.
No, we got the exact opposite. And we got maybe one of the more baffling putts ever. Now, if I hadn't seen this a couple of weeks ago, Gary, we actually showed it on the podcast a couple of weeks ago. It was in very windy conditions, so there was a little bit of that. Did the wind blow the disc out of her hand? Like, what did we just witness? And then if Mike can pull up the video, we got this that went down. Mind you, this is I believe at this time, the leader of the tournament, or at least like a couple shots back. I think that does a slow-mo here.
What in the world was that?
Or maybe it's a different angle. I think they show in a
Something
second.
I don't think I've ever seen happen.
Yeah, here's the slow-mo.
Getting ready to line up and release her shot, and it just slips right out of her hand.
So Terry
Wow.
goes with the line, something I've never seen done
I've not
before.
seen
No,
before
Hannah
from
did
that
this
distance.
literally like
Yeah.
a couple weeks prior. We've seen this before.
Paying attention to the
Getting
lady
ready
in
to
gray
line up and release her
laughing
shot,
behind
and
her.
it just slips right out of her hand.
And
Wow.
so we were kind of like trying
seen it
to
before.
come up with, how do we compare this to obviously one of the best disc golfers in the world? She's right there winning a world championship,
Yeah.
and does this. And we were trying to come up with like, how can we make an analogy in other sports? What would be the example of this? And I think PDJ Mike said something like airballing a free throw.
That was me. I'll take credit for
Or
that one.
Gary took that one. Sorry, Gary, you said airballing a free throw. And I was like, yeah, but like you can airball a free throw and like almost make it. Like it can be pretty close to almost making it. And then I don't know if he wants to take credit for it, so we're not going to say who did it. If he wants to take credit for it, he can take credit for it in the comments. But he said it's like Michael Phelps jumping into a pool and drowning. And that is a great analogy of where it's just like something that you would not expect to see. Like you just like, how is it possible, right? The butt fumble, that's a good one. I brought that one up too as potentially there's Edwin Stats taking credit for it. Now, I did my own research, Gary. Okay. Kelsey, to be fair, it's not videotaped. She was in her robe, so I'm not videotaping her in her robe. But I went out to the porch. I handed her 10 discs. I stepped off 12 feet. And I said, putt right now. I want to see how many you make from 12 feet. You got 10 discs. How many do you make? She made all 10, Gary. Kelsey, my wife, who doesn't play disc golf, doesn't really know what she's doing. And to be fair, it did not look pretty. It wasn't like super crisp putts. She went 10 for 10 from 12 feet. This is where the skill level it takes to be able to make a 12-footer, Gary, is not high. It's really not hard to make a 12-footer. This is something that is so mental that it's like causing a block. The fact that the putter is like coming out of her hand before, like a half a second before it should. Yeah. It's crazy. It's something like, it's like something's not firing of like snapping something's not working.
Yeah, I think anyone out there who's ever struggled with their putt and has done the thing where they thought about the mechanics too hard knows that sometimes that's what leads to the craziest grip blocks or whatever. And if you look the way she does her pre-putt routine, she stabs. And so I think, without obviously talking to her, of course, that maybe she's overthinking her routine and like the mechanics of her putt. And so the whole fluidity of being able to stab out and have the disc release, it just isn't happening because she's thinking about each of the motions and why it's important. And it's like the brain can't handle that all at once. It's like why you don't tell someone, oh, I didn't know you do that with your arm when they drive, because now you've mentally messed them up because they're thinking about everything.
It's one of those things from like 12 feet. There's probably 100 different ways I could make a putt from 12 feet. Like without like trying a bunch of attempts. Yeah. Like there's so many. I could probably spin it up and elbow spike it into the basket from 12 feet, right? Like something has to change because she is so good off the tee.
Yeah.
So good. We saw her throw incredible shots. And if she was just able to make putts inside of 20 feet, she'd be winning all the time. And then it also makes her throws off the tee so much easier because now you don't always have to feel like you have to park it, right? So I don't know. It's one of those things that's tough to watch because it's not even like, the closest thing is maybe like someone that just can't even putt. They can't pull the trigger. They're just sitting there pumping, right? Because it's like, they should be able to do it, and it's just something's not firing, and they can't do it.
Yeah.
So unfortunate, tough to watch. It's not enjoyable to watch. I don't think anyone gets enjoyment watching it. So hopefully she can figure it out. We do have to talk about Own, the world champion. I mean, impressive stuff from Own here. Again, someone that claimed that she had no business winning, basically thought that she couldn't win, told her husband, who's on the bag, caddies for her, the morning of that, I don't think I can win this, goes out there. And aside from really Ella, who obviously had an insane round, Own had like the second best round of the day.
Yeah.
Great stuff. And finishing it off super clutch, 3 under through the last 4. I mean, this is just shout out to Own because, man, I remember talking to her at, where was it? Austin, Open at Austin, maybe a couple years ago. And just talking about how difficult it is to travel, how difficult it is to play disc golf and be on the road and do this all the time and make this your life. And she just has such a positive attitude on everything that I think that truly helps her. I think it does. I think she never gets too down. I think she always stays positive. Now, obviously, I don't think that works for everyone. I mean, we just talked to Ezra and Goose. They're a little bit of the exact opposite, where they want to get pissed off and then kind of channel it. But like, man, watching her win, that was good stuff. Yeah. That was good stuff from Owen.
Yeah, I think we were going to be treated to a really great winner, regardless of what the outcome of that playoff was going to be. We were either going to make history with a 15-year-old, coming out of nowhere, or we were going to get the most world champion you could be right now, Own.
Yeah, impressive stuff. This was a weird tournament, though, for some of the top players.
Yeah.
It was a very, very weird tournament. Disc Golf Fanatic had a post that I thought was very interesting where they basically put the top 10 players for the Disc Golf Pro Tour standings, and they showed where they finished. The first one, obviously, we got to talk about Holland Hanley. The first time failing to make it into the top 5.
Yeah.
Probably the most consistent player this season so far. Just didn't show up. I mean, I know some people are going to say she still got top 10. Guys, top 10 in the FPO, that's not what, right now the number 1 player in the standings is trying to do, right? It's not great. She wasn't in contention. She was never in contention. She ended up having a good final round, shooting 5 under, but she shot 6 over par. And she was 16 shots back, Gary.
Yep, and it really wasn't. I mean, Tampere, coming out of Tampere being 3 over through those 2 rounds isn't necessarily terrible, but to come out of the beast between rounds 1 and 4, 8 over par, that's definitely problematic because you need to be scoring out there, and just she wasn't able to do it. She really struggled down the stretch too. She took the triple bogey to finish round 4 on hole 18. That's a bit of a dagger right there.
Yeah. So Owen, we're obviously going to get into Kristen here in a second. Silva, another person that just was not a factor in this tournament at all, finishing in 6th place. Someone that we were thinking maybe be the favorite coming into this thing, outside of maybe Kristen and Holland. Then you have obviously Ella, who's 4th place in standings, finished in 3rd. Then you've got Owen, who's 5th place, obviously moving a lot up in standings because these standings are after the tournament, after Worlds. So obviously Owen moving up a lot, winning. Missy Gannon, another person that, hats off to her. I do have to say hats off to her because she absolutely blew up in the first day, karting what'd she take? 14.
14, yeah.
She was in last place in the A pool, karting a 14 on hole 16, and was able to battle all the way back to 8th place.
Yeah.
So some really, really impressive stuff for Missy to just be able to battle back. But yeah, not being a factor at a major, tough to see. Cadence, again, also another person, 16th place. Kat Murch, 18th place. Paige Pierce, 20th. Evelina, 7th. I mean,
Kat was in it. Kat was definitely in this event all the way up until
was it round 3?
I think. No, actually, you know what? It was only round 2. I think she came out of round 1 in good position. Then in round 2, she had the issue with she had the blow up on hole 6 with a 5 over on that hole. But yeah, for a moment, I thought we might be able to see Kat get involved.
Yep. And so it was a very interesting tournament where a lot of the big heavy hitters that you expect to be kind of pushing at the top, and especially in FPO where the field is a lot thinner than MPO side, you're used to kind of seeing the same top players up at the top. We really didn't see them. Didn't see them. So it was a weird one. All right, Kristen. Let's first play the interview that she did after round 1.
Kristen Lott joins us now after round 1 of the World Championship. +1 effort on the day. Can you just talk about the performance out there and how the round went?
Yeah, I mean, I have the same problems I've had for a long time, so nothing has changed, unfortunately. So, didn't feel good at all, didn't sleep at all, so it's a hard week for me.
So then, moving into the rest of the week, what are you going to plan to do between the rounds?
I don't even know. I just want to survive, honestly. Like, it's been so hard. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I can finish the tournament or I cannot. I don't know, because I have so severe anxiety that it's very hard to cope.
Well, Kristen, thank you so much for just giving us your time after round 1. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks.
So that was after round 1. She was several shots back from the lead. She then proceeds to play round 2, still not that great, falling more further back plays round 3, same kind of thing, and DNFs after round 3. She was 7 over par in 16th place, 17 shots back after round 3. So pretty much, out of it at that point in time.
Mhm.
So there's some questions here. The first question that needs to be asked, had she been more in the mix, right? Had she have been 5 shots back, 3 shots back, has she been somewhere closer in the mix? Do you think she DNFs here?
I think if she's closer, she doesn't, because she is saying that she's been through stuff a lot recently, and she's been competitive, and she still played those events. So had she been in the top 5, any opportunity to be successful, I think she would have powered through, and being in a position that she was at, it's just an easy out for her.
So the first thing I'll say on the issue, because obviously in this in her interview, she talks about how she's had the same problems for a very long time. She didn't sleep at all, so she's like not sleeping.
Yeah, she mentioned having anxiety attacks during nights. She mentioned that in her post before Worlds.
Yeah, she also says, I have severe anxiety. It's very hard to cope. First and foremost, whatever's going on, Kristen, we hope it gets better. I don't know if it's a disc golf thing. I think it's probably something outside of disc golf. Because I think if it's a disc golf thing, I think you probably would have mentioned it. So the fact that she's not really giving us much of what's happening, we hope it gets better, right? Obviously, there's no reason to continue to play disc golf if you're not having fun, you're not enjoying it. At the end of the day, yes, do you have like contracts written that they're asking for something and you need to deliver on it? 100%. I'm sure she's had those talks with her sponsors, and I'm sure they're okay with her taking a break or DNFing or doing the things. And at the end of the day, her fans are probably going to support her. The people that don't root for her are probably going to critique and look for cracks and holes and stuff. The one thing that, again, I don't know what's going on with her, but the one thing that is, and maybe I could be in the wrong here. So Gary, please let me know if I'm in the wrong, and same chat, let me know if I'm in the wrong here. The one thing that I am just struggling with is there are examples in other sports where, players have had parents pass away. Players, athletes have had kids of theirs pass away. And days later, they are suiting up and playing. They are going onto the court. They are going onto the pitch and playing. This has to be some sort of thing that's causing, like disc golf has to be some sort of thing that is causing the pain. It has to be disc golf related a little bit, because I couldn't imagine having a kid and losing my kid and then having to go out and play a tournament days later. Like I couldn't imagine that. And people are able to do it and perform at a high level too. So there's got to be something going on that's disc golf related that's causing this, because we see in other sports people are able to handle it.
Yeah, because oftentimes they'll say that the sport is like some sort of solace for them. They can go there and it can be the passion for them. And I think the other big thing that's important to say here, similar to what I mentioned before, it is perfectly reasonable that we talk about this stuff, because if in any other larger sport, I mean, imagine in the height of like the Super Bowl, Patrick Mahomes says, guys, I'm benching myself in the second half. I have all this stuff going on. People will be talking about it to no end. So I think it's important, like we did here. Obviously, we want the best for Kristen. And if that's time away from the game, that's time away from the game. We can have a respectful conversation about why this kind of thing happens. And I think I agree with you. There's got to be something disc golf related here, because if she really loved disc golf, it'd be easier to stick in it. But if there's something going on between her relationship with disc golf and her life, I mean, we saw she made the separate Instagram account separating disc golf from the rest of her life. And now we have this. And I wonder if it's just a lot of the pressure felt with the festival being in her home country, and like that was a tipping point for her. If it's a combination of the physical industries or injuries or whatever it was, but I'm saddened by the fact that we didn't get to see her in her full form at Worlds, because disc golf in the FPO field is so much better when Kristen is at her peak. And especially, and maybe this is a selfish thing for me to say, I want disc golf to do well, like on the world stage here at the World Games. And we want Kristen to be at her peak for that kind of thing. We want to be able to showcase the best of what our sport has to offer from different nations. So, hopefully whatever it is, she's already posted pictures, I think, in China. So, I think we're going to be seeing her playing, but I hope whatever it is outside the sport, she can come to terms with. And, we're not super far from the end of the sport or end of the season. So maybe she takes a little bit of break here and figures out whatever that is for her.
Yeah. Let's make it perfectly clear, guys. This is the number one player in the world at the biggest tournament in the world. And they're DNFing not because of a broken back, a broken ankle.
Yeah.
They're not DNFing from some physical thing that happened in the tournament, right? They're DNFing and they're giving us very little information on why they're DNFing. I mean, that is a massive story. That is a huge story.
Yeah.
And it's not one where it's like, oh, okay, Kristen, go do your thing. Like, you are the biggest player. You have made tons of money the last couple of years in disc golf. You have tons of fans, and this is the biggest tournament. And you're quitting in the middle of it.
Yeah.
People are going to have questions. People are going to want to know what's going on. Do we deserve to know what's going on? Absolutely not.
Yep.
Absolutely not. But that doesn't change the fact that people want to know.
Exactly.
Right?
We can speculate all we want about the disc golf and the relationship with disc golf, but when it comes to like whatever's going on personally, because I imagine it's a combination of something personal and something related to the sport. And maybe it's the pressure that she's feeling within the sport of disc golf combined with outside pressure relating to something personal. And those two things coming together have just created a firestorm of anxiety in her life, where she feels like she can't go to one thing or the other without experiencing some kind of difficulty. And disc golf isn't the respite that it's always been for her. So, we could talk about disc golf all we want, but whatever she's got going on, we wish her the best.
And this is where, pros want the sport to be more professional. They want more fans. They want more money. They want more. And I'm not saying Kristen actually, I don't really ever hear her saying any of this stuff, but I'm sure, just like everyone, she wants it to be bigger. She wants to grow. This is stuff that comes with it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And, me and you right now are having a very respectful conversation on it. There's other people out there that wouldn't have a respectful conversation. They maybe put titles out there to get clicks and all sorts of stuff. That is what comes with the territory. Like I said, I think this person makes a really interesting point. They said, can you imagine the pressure being a superstar of an entire country, a car deal, a supplement deal, her own clothing line, being a mom, a wife? All those things you just said are all positive things that literally everyone on tour would want. So it's one of those things of where you want to be rich and famous until you become rich and famous and realize all the stuff that happens with it. Like, you can't just become rich and famous and then go out and do something poorly. Who was it? It was you probably don't know who it is, but the best player in college football, wide receiver for Ohio State. Man, I'm not on my game tonight. I should know his name 100%. Smith. No, not Smith. Someone help me, please. He was a freshman last year. Probably will be the number 1 overall pick whenever he decides to go out. Oh my gosh, this is embarrassing.
Not a clue.
Please, do we have football fans? College football, Ohio State. Dear God, Mike, look it up, please, for me.
So, Nick G says LeBron.
Definitely not LeBron. Oh, I can't move past this. Dad brain. Jones. Definitely not Jones.
I'm typing in Ohio State receiver.
It'll be the first one
Jeremiah
that pops up.
Smith.
Oh, it was Smith. Gosh,
Quincy,
dang it,
Quincy
Bryce.
Porter.
Trust your instincts. He just came out with a interview where he said he can't go to the grocery store anymore.
Oh yeah, I can't even
Like
imagine.
he can't do anything, and it's like, yeah, does that suck? Sure, but you also have all this other stuff that goes with it, so you can't have both, right?
Yeah,
and I think we're seeing that with some of these top players now. I think Gannon actually has been doing a really good job with it. It doesn't seem like it's bothering him as much. And when people come after him for being slow and all this stuff, he seems like he's handling it well. Turns out some people don't handle it that well. So I don't know what's going on. We might not never know what's going on, but hopefully she can figure it out, because ultimately at the end of the day, I've always said, do what you love. And if she doesn't love playing disc golf, if this isn't bringing her happiness, then 100% stop playing. It's not worth it. It's definitely not worth it.
Yeah.
All right. Do you want to talk a little bit about Worlds payouts?
Yeah, if you want to.
Yeah, let's talk about Worlds payouts. Go for it. What are your thoughts on it? I don't really have too much to say. I mean,
I think we're in a similar position where it's like, number one, the amount is so small. Like, how much is it worth talking about it? And I agree that there are good arguments on both sides. For those here who don't know, that the payouts for Worlds this year were lower than the previous year. The total added cash was like $100,000 less. And so there's a big conversation about, where that money comes from, and if this is going to be the biggest, best event, best Worlds ever, how are the payouts going to be lower? And UC Maresma 5 months ago was on a Finnish podcast. I did listen to the whole podcast with translated subtitles. I don't know why I do this stuff.
Well done.
But he talked a lot about how the focus was so much more on creating the best possible event to build a foundation for the future, so that this is an event that, he's like, we've got advertisers, we got people who are sponsors in this booth looking at the crowd that we have and the grandeur of this event. And because of that, we are investing in the future of those investments into disc golf. And so his focus was more on the event and putting every penny he could into making this the best possible event. And if that meant suffering the total winnings a little bit, that's what ended up happening. So I can see the argument on one side of, our payouts blew up probably faster than they should have, over the course of a couple of years. And so now it's created an expectation that can't necessarily always be followed. But I also can respect the side of the argument of, with so much money that went into this, was there not a way we couldn't beef up at least the top end of the payouts for the top several positions? Even though the PDGA says that it has to be paid out in this way, they break their own rules all the time. They can break a rule here.
Good points. All right. Something that I thought was very funny, and something that I think that makes disc golf very unique, is there was a picture of Silva holding a disc. Did you see this, Gary?
Yeah.
And you can see, I can't remember where it was posted, Facebook or Twitter or something. And I think the caption or something was something along the lines of like, Brian, I don't think you're going to get your disc back. And it's Silva holding a disc with Brian C on the bottom of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was a great photo of where you could potentially, have a world champion or a future world champion, or like Silva, a major champion. You could have a disc that you have thrown, that you have played with, and it could be in their bag, and it could be something that they're using to go out there and win tournaments.
Yep.
That's something I think that's very unique to disc golf, and actually really, really cool. Cool stuff.
Yeah, I love watching people like who are local to me as dyers get excited when one of their dies makes it into the hands of like a pro on tour. There's just something unique. It's it's cool about disc golf. It's different.
We absolutely dominated Tour Grip Lock this week and pick 'em, Gary.
Yeah, bodied them.
It was definitely a little bit scary there for a moment. I was like on a cruise, and you guys freaking not having your iPhones. It's not all my text messages were going through, and so we were trying to get our picks in.
Yeah,
and I was really, really high on Gooseman. I thought Goose was going to have a really good tournament going into this, and Gary did a lot with like locking in our picks here with Gannon and Ezra and Goose. And I mean, we couldn't have done much better. Nicholas would have been, I don't even know if we could get Nicholas. I think we might have maxed out points.
This is literally the best we could have performed in MPO. There's
absolutely insane.
Yeah, there's no better way to pick.
So we ended up gaining 42 more points on Grip Locked. We are currently in the lead by 156.2 points.
Yep. My only regret is the argument about Val versus Ella and not taking Ella, because that would have been like a victory lap on top of but still, I mean, honestly, what are you gonna expect? This is where you go for the pick, guys. This is where you go for the picks.
5 out of 6, pretty impressive stuff. We will not be making picks this week for Turku. We should not make picks the next 2 times to give them that. we will be making picks for Ledgestone. So no picks this week for Turku. We'll be back for Ledgestone. All right. Do we have time to make it through some questions? Man, it's been a long episode, but it's a Worlds recap. You guys know it's Worlds recap. You know it's going to be a long one.
The only thing worth mentioning before that is the viewership numbers that we saw coming out of Finland. Which definitely worth mentioning. That I'm gonna look at the actual name of it here. The Finland's YLE National TV, they reported that viewership during the event peaked at nearly 600,000 viewers during Sunday's rounds, with averaging around 300,000 viewers. But for context, that's 10% of the country's population watching disc golf. I mean,
that's insane.
That's pretty incredible. That's pretty incredible. And these are all public numbers, which is really great to see. I wish we could have some more open and public numbers in other areas of our sport, but this is really, really inspiring, and I think is a testament to the strength of European disc golf and how they showed up.
Mr. Tony really wants me to talk about the medals over trophies. So Mike, if you can find a photo of the medals that they gave out instead of the trophies, please throw that up for me, because I did not see any photos of that. While he is doing that, though, before we go into listener questions, I do have to say the pre-cock disc is here, Gary.
Love it.
It just dropped tonight. So we got over 500 people in the chat right now. If you go to that website, which let me put it in the chat for you.
Yep. I think if you pull up the just foundation, it is like the first thing that pops up on the page. It's like a recent.
Is that not going to be a clickable link? Why is that not clickable? I don't know why that link's not clickable. But if you go to foundationdiscgolf.com, let me see if I can do it on my phone so you guys can see. I've got my best Survivor seasons. I'm currently watching Survivor right now.
And hey, if you don't go to their website, if you get the app, first thing that pops up on the app, right there.
Yep.
Boom.
So there it is, guys. The pre-cock disc is there. New arrival, top seller too. What the heck? Hey, it just dropped tonight. We got some different stamps, some different colors. So if you want a pre-cock disc, these are actually going to be zones too. So they're actually going to be pretty nasty. Go pick them up before they're all gone. Thanks for everyone for supporting, and thanks to everyone that wanted to pre-cock that forehand. All right, let's drop into our listener questions. We got a couple good ones, and we'll try to roll through. I think I might save some for next week too. Here's a good one for you, Gary. How There's the medal. Oh, let's talk about the medals real quick.
Oh. Same kind of medals they gave out for the other competitions, the putting and distance.
I'll say this. I don't hate the medal. I think it's nice, but I think if you win the world title, I think there should be like a trophy that comes with it.
Yeah.
So I think like second, third place, you get a medal. First place, you get a medal, but you also get a trophy.
Yep.
I think it looks nice. I think it's fine looking medal, but
easy to pack to go home with.
Yeah, I think having a trophy would be nice there too. Okay. Gary, how can Worlds next year try to compete with this Worlds this year as far as being a spectacle goes? I watch live coverage every week, but I have zero interest in going to spectate. What can the tournament staff do to entice fans to show up?
Well, let's see. What things did they do here really well? They let people show up to the course for free. That's probably not going to happen in the United States. They built a ton of infrastructure. Not sure that's going to happen. I'll put it this way. I'd love to see them be able to recreate this. It's going to be difficult without the same level of passion from the area. Now, that's not to say that wherever we go to, is that the local club isn't going to really want people to be excited about it, but there is a difference between a local club of even a couple thousand people and the backing of a nation and the money that got put into that and the planning. And because, I mean, UC said it himself, like this is like 10 years in the making for him. He's wanted this for so long. So I think right now, if the goal is to let's try to recreate the worlds that we just saw, I think they already need to like level their expectations a little bit and try to improve upon what we've seen on American soil worlds in the past. So rather than, I normally I'm a big fan of making goals big, hairy, and audacious, so that way you can swing for the fences. But I think if they try to go too hard at something and come way short of it and still have the same problems that they always have, that's a problem. So they should really, really focus on what can we fix, what lessons can we learn, and what can we fix from previous worlds to make it even better.
Why is USDGC not in the middle of the year and Worlds at the end? Like, what do we have to do to change this? So a couple things on this one. One, the weather. Having the tournament right now in Rock Hill in August, it would be very hot. It's doable, very hot. I think also with Rock Hill, there might be something with the school of being able to do it on I think there's a break or something they do it normally on. I'm not entirely sure, but there might be something because they don't own the land and it's through the school. There might be some sort of thing of like, hey, you can do it during this time during August or whatever. Is not great, but I'm with you. I think Worlds would be so much sicker if it was the final tournament of the year. It was the thing that was leading up to it. Everyone's leading up to it. It makes a lot more sense that way. Will it ever change? I don't know, but I can only hope. Gary, is Eagle still a guy who is capable of winning Worlds?
No.
His time has come. You think it's like why? Injuries or?
I think he's not the same Eagle we saw before. I feel like there's a different fire or personality to him. I think if he played the best he possibly could he be competitive? Sure. Do I think we're getting that out of him? No, I just don't. It doesn't feel like I need to see something from him before I feel that way. And every time we talk about, is he coming back? Is he coming back? He shows us again that he's not. So we need to see something concrete from Eagle for me to feel confident of him being competitive at any kind of major stage right now.
Eagle and AB had a lot of comparisons with one another, which is how far they both threw their backhands and the forehands. Obviously, after the injury, I think maybe some things have changed for Eagle. I think if AB all of a sudden lost 50 feet, backhand and forehand, I still think he would be very competitive.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think...
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, what were you say?
Because maybe he needs to go back to being vegan again.
I think
meat's not doing it for him.
I just think there might have been more like the courses that they were playing,
Yeah.
the distances, like his distance, I think really was a huge advantage to him. And he still throws far. I'm not saying he doesn't throw nearly as far as he used to, but I don't know. When I look at Eagle and AB, it just seems like AB has made that leap and has made that jump, and Eagle hasn't.
Yeah.
Not to say he can't. I mean, he's still in his 20s. You know, there are people that have some of their better years in their early 30s. So,
Yeah.
not saying never, but I think that's just interesting seeing their two kind of arcs change a little bit. Do you have expectations for your next tournament? I think this is directed towards me. If you won, would it motivate you to dive all the way back in or not change the trajectory of your disc golf career? I really honestly have, as of right now, I don't have any expectations for Ledgestone, which is my next tournament. That's next week. I'm just going to have a fun time. I get to play Northwood Black, which I think is one of the best designed courses I've ever played. Eureka, kind of a little bit outdated, but I suck on hole one's tee shot. And I feel like I'm much better at throwing a flex shot now. So I'm excited to go back there. I think I'm just excited to challenge myself on, the courses I play around Dallas are very easy. So it's going to be fun to go play and challenge myself on tougher courses.
Yeah.
If I won, would that change anything? No. And I'll tell you this, I've shed tears winning certain events, championships, and stuff throughout my life. And a lot of that has to do with the sacrifice, the work, and all of that I've put into those sports to when you finally reach the top, you just let it all out. In disc golf, I did have that at a point in time, but now I have a much more healthier relationship with disc golf, with just where I am in my life, to where I think if I won, I would almost be laughing, like, what the heck? How did I win kind of thing? And there wouldn't be this big, like, oh my God, now I want to go out and win the next one.
Yeah.
It would still be me and Kelsey planning our next trip.
Yeah. On the contrary, if I win Ledgestone, I will quit everything and go on tour full time.
There you have it. You can't play too good, Gary. I need you to caddy for me.
Oh, I am also playing Northwood and Eureka Temp, just Northwood Blue.
When we say we have to grow the game, does that mean just the Pro Tour side of things? How do we keep the vast majority of people that play disc golf interested in continuing to play and get even recreational players to start competing locally, Gary?
That's a big one. I think it has to start with youth. We have to get more disc golf in schools. Obviously, what Edge is doing and a couple of the other different places when it comes to getting grassroots disc golf in play. Like you got the Paul McBeth Foundation, you got Ricky's Foundation, putting more and more discs in the hands of young kids and getting them involved in the sport, showing people that disc golf is one of the most easily approachable sports that you can play anywhere is a big deal. And I mean, you can tell right now that we just don't have people who are willing to be active anymore. It was very telling when the PDGA released their information for the election results, was that they sent out ballots to about 101,000 members. That's who they consider to be active members. And we're over what number for PDGA memberships now? Do we crest 300,000? So that shows me that only 33% of members are active members. So I think we need to get more people involved in schools and youth and growing the programs. We have to get those people excited about being more participants in like local leagues and clubs. And I'm hearing more and more about local TDs being done and hanging it up and then not having someone to hand the reins to run the local events, to get involved with the leagues. I'm seeing it happen in my area where they have to rely on other people to step up and spread the work out to multiple people. So I think grow the sport has to be done on both levels. That's why I'm a big believer that the PDGA should probably pick one and do that and not necessarily try to handle both or create a separate arm that addresses one. But that's my opinion. It's got to start in the schools with youth, educating people how easy disc golf is to get into, and then creating a space for them to come out and enjoy their first experience.
All right, we end tonight's podcast on a massive pet peeve.
Ooh.
This person's massive pet peeve is that the disc golf emphasizes the 1X phrase. The correct titles are world champion Gannon Burr and 6X world champion or 6-time world champion Paul Macbeth. You don't say 1-time Super Bowl champion Drew Brees. 1X is redundant and belittles the title. I will die on this hill. It's not a bad take.
Yeah.
It's not a bad take. I do like the 2-time, 3-time, 4-time. I think that is cool. But yes, if you've only won one, you're a world champion.
Yep.
You don't say 1-time world champion. That's just weird. That's really weird.
That almost sounds derogatory. Like that's the only one time. That's just a one-time world champion.
I'm just a one-time world.
Yeah, just a one-time. That's it.
All right. Did we miss anything, Gary? Mike? Did we miss anything? Probably one of our longest podcasts. But golly, was there a lot to talk about?
Yep. My Kimberton DNF.
If you guys haven't, make sure you go to foundationdisc.com, pick up your Precock Zone. I don't know how long they'll stay online. A lot of people listen to this podcast in the morning. So if you're thinking about grabbing one, probably grab one now while they're still in stock. Shout out to Yuli for popping on here. If you guys want, check out his code for Vessi. I think you get 15% off. I thought it was 10% off. Vessi.com/Yuli. Get 15% off there. And shout out to all of our guests for coming on. Sully, Ezra, Gooseman. My goal is to try to get Gannon on next week. He's in China, like I said. Try to get the world champ on next week. Potentially try to get Owen on again. Very tough interview to get, but hopefully get Owen to come on as well to talk about the world championship that they just won. I will be in Ledgestone next week. Gary will be in Ledgestone next week. So we might do a little live tour life for you guys, live from Ledgestone, which would be fun. He's in China for the World Games.
Yeah.
Playing with Missy Gannon in a doubles event. But I think we pretty much nailed everything. And I think, if anything, that this World Championship has taught us is anyone can win. Never count yourself out. And, I think this is like part, because I think there will be a lot of positives and negatives that came from this World Championship. And I think, again, you can have both, right? I think that's the beautiful thing about sports is obviously we're not asking for nastiness and mean and bullying and all that. I'm not a fan of that stuff. But the thing that I love about sports is people having different opinions. People thinking one thing about one thing and someone saying, you have no idea what you're talking about. This is what's going on. And the more that, the more exciting it is, the more people tune in, the more people will pay attention to. And sometimes, Gary, you're going to be on the short end of the stick there. Sometimes you're going to be the person that people are making fun of or whatever. But it's part of the game, man. You're a professional athlete. It comes with the territory. Get over it or get out, because someone else will take your spot and have no problems doing it. What a world championship, though. Congrats to Gannon Burr. Congrats to Owen Scoggins. Your 2025 World Championship. Shout out to Finland, too. Great host. Incredible host. Hopefully we continue to come back to Finland and put on big disc golf events, because you guys do a great job of going out and supporting the players. Thanks to all of our people for listening tonight. Thanks to everyone listening in the future. We appreciate all of you, and we'll see you next time.